And we're live.
I'm ready for us to go live. Let's do
Hey
it.
guys,
Yeah.
welcome to another episode of The Couch Show. If you're new to the channel, Sibling Rivalry, I'm Lynn.
I'm Ray.
And we're all about
And-
positivity, and we want to help you through whatever you're going through. We just want to help you raise your vibration.
Yeah, that's right. Elevate yourself. Let us help you get to where you want to be in life.
Yeah.
Are we there though? Like, can we say honestly that we're there? That we got to where we want to be? Like, why should they listen to us, Lynn?
I think that, life is a journey.
It is.
We haven't arrived anywhere. Like, we're just in a different stage, a different season. And it feels great, though, and, like, we've both left the rat race. We're no longer in the modern day slavery. And we're learning how to live life one day at a time. Hey, Fuzz, welcome.
Oh, shoot. I haven't checked.
We're just in a different stage, a different season.
All right.
It feels great.
I think our journey is still going. I think I have a lot more that I want to do in my life, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot more accomplishments I want to do, but I think we've managed a lot so far.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can help people along the way, give them a little cheat code, more power to us, right?
That's what we aim to do. So today's topic, let's jump right in. Today's topic is allowing time to heal.
Hold up. Before we jump into the topic, I know I'm stealing your thunder right now. I'm killing your whole motivation right now. But what happened to last week?
Oh, that's true. Last week.
We gotta clear out the air.
Yeah.
We didn't have a Thursday show, so let's recap from there. Let's go from there.
Yo, so on Wednesday, started on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, my girlfriend hits me up. She's like, yo, I have to be in Florida on Friday. Like, do you think you could drop everything and fly down with me? I was like, holy shit, on Friday? She was like, yeah. I was like, that's my kryptonite, but let me find out. So I moved some things around, and sure enough, we booked a flight that night. We flew out Thursday morning. And I brought like my carry-on, like the full-size carry-on size luggage, so I can like bring my entire like setup. So I traveled with my gaming laptop, and I went through TSA and everything, made it to Florida, and I set everything up, ready to go, and like the internet at the hotel sucked. It sucked. There was just no working around it.
You need a hotspot.
Yeah.
the MiFi, the mobile joint.
And unfortunately, like, Ray's setup isn't ready yet, so like he couldn't even go live, and I would just join.
I've been slacking this
and
weekend.
And then you were here all weekend. We hung out all weekend
long,
and we didn't set up the service.
Let's talk about the weekend. So what do we do this weekend?
WrestleMania.
Thank
you.
38.
Oh my god, my kids keep doing it.
What do they do? Thank you. How about this one? Shoot.
They're doing that one too. Yep, they're talking about the guys from Jackass.
Oh, Johnny Knoxville.
What's his name? Party something?
Party Boy?
Yeah, Party Boy.
When he
and
came
Wee
out with
Man,
his song?
they're talking about Wee Man. I'm like, oh my god.
Yo, talk about, I knew Wee Man was gonna come out. I knew it. As soon as I saw Party Boy, I was like, yo, Wee Man has to be somewhere. And he came out from under the ring, and then he picked up your boy. He was like, I was like, yo, Wee Man, that was hilarious. Yo, but Johnny Knoxville's 50 years old. Oh, it's crazy seeing all these guys that you grew up with and they're getting old.
It is crazy.
That was heartbreaking.
Like realizing, like, wow, like we're now their ages and they're old.
Yeah. No, we passed their ages when they started. Like we surpassed the ages that they started. and they're foreshadowing our future. I'm like, no, I don't want to get there. I don't want to get there. Oh man.
I think old age is gonna be beautiful when it gets here.
I hope that I'm still mobile. Like, there's one thing I took away from this weekend. It was so Stone Cold came back, right? For those who don't know, Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? He came back, and he's about, like, I think he's 58, so he's 2 years shy of being 60. And like, you see him with both like knee braces. He came out and like he could barely like move, but he was still agile. But you could see that it was getting to him, right? His knees, like, he has bad knees. And I'm like, man, that's like the only thing. Like, I hope I'm still like mobile, still like can still do things, you know?
Yeah.
That's about it. That's the only thing I'm asking for when I get older. In the new movie, Johnny Knoxville took a hit from a raging bull. It was terrifying. I thought he died. Yeah, that guy, the stuff that you go through, like if you see all the stuff that guy's put his body through, I'm surprised he's still alive. And there's even one clip where Steve-O, he's like talking about, he's like, they say that if you're gonna have concussions, you're okay if you have it like before you're 50. And he was like, and Johnny Knoxville's 49, so we're all good. So it's like, man, it's just, I get it. They're entertaining, but to put your body through all that, I got to commend them for that, because I'm going to say it. I would have punked out. I'd be like, after the third, something hit my nuts. I'm like, I'm out. I'm not doing this no more.
Oh my God, the one guy who rolled the bowling ball. I was like, no, don't do it.
Yeah. Johnny Knoxville took the bowling ball and he freaking tossed it right into Sami Zayn's fun bags. I was like, no, don't do it. And then did you like the little foot that they had?
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
And it was funny too, because on our drive, on our drive there, I was talking to my kids and I was like, I guarantee there's gonna be the giant hand. And I was like, they're gonna probably, like, the guy's gonna run, the giant hand's gonna hit him, and then he's gonna pin him right there, right? That's what I thought. He's gonna pin him right there. And then straight out of nowhere, ringside, he's running around the ring, and bam, the big hand smacks him. Oh, that match was hilarious. If you guys haven't seen it, I would suggest go online. There's probably clips now of it and all that. It's just good. It's good fun. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, it's just good fun to see Johnny Knoxville, 50 years old, out there just doing his thing. And I got to commend, WWE, Vince McMahon, just for having a sense of humor to just make a mockery of his business. And it was fun, because it was just great, like, good fun. Like, we were all just laughing hysterically. Yeah. The kids were laughing, me and you were laughing. It was just good times. Just a great crossover between, WWE and Jackass. It was just great. And then I heard, so it was actually a 4-night event. And they were down in Texas. Yeah. It was 2. Yeah. So they continue. It was Saturday, Sunday was the main event. It was WrestleMania. Then they had like a pre-show on Friday. They had the after show on Monday. So, I mean, it was a big to-do, right? It was 77,000 on Saturday and 78,000 on Sunday.
It's a lot of people.
And so they did cross promotion for the new release of the Jackass movie on digital. So I think it was the Jackass Park right outside of the venue. So the kids could go in there and they were doing all of the activities and stuff like that. It was kind of cool.
That sounds cool. I think our kids would have enjoyed that.
Yeah. I know. Kids. I know. I was
oh my God. Our kids were like, they turned my living room into like a wrestling rink, and it was.
Yeah.
It was all bets off. Like, nobody was untouchable. I got pulled in. Ray got pulled in. Ray got his ass kicked.
a little injuries here and there. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Some scares,
Yo, she has some kicks. I was like, oh shit. She was coming at me like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I was like, damn. But it's funny too, because you see like their fighting spirit. Like, nobody wanted to lose. And wrestling is like a dance. Like, you gotta take your hits. You gotta act it up. Like, oh, right. And then then you get your hits and you take some more hits. But none of them want to lose.
Right.
And so I'm like, I'm like, and this is like a great metaphor because it's like you see these kids, you see their heart, you see how they want to fight, you see how they don't want to lose. And trust me, your kids don't seem competitive. I mean, they're competitive with each other, but they're not like competitive with anything else.
Right.
But in this scenario, they were very competitive. And I was like, yo, that's their natural spirit. And it's crazy how society, once again, wants us all to be victims and tries to kill that fighting spirit inside of us.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to lose. Everyone wants to be a winner, right? Everybody has that drive to. So why don't we spark that in our children? Why is it by design that we teach our kids to call it quits and be losers, like at an early stage, you know?
What do you mean?
It's
Who
like,
do you tell to call quits? I haven't told anybody over here to call it quits.
No, not you. No, society in general. With the whole like victim mentality that's going on.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like you see the natural, what I'm saying is like you see the natural aspiration to win in these kids. That's what we saw this weekend. Like they wanted to win. Nobody wanted to lose, right? Like we had to tell them, like, hey, you know, you gotta trust them. You guys gotta take a hit sometimes. Yeah, we told them that. But you see the natural, like, I just want to win, right? And it's almost scary because they forget their family. And I see it all the time on my end because
they were.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, you guys are still brothers. What are you doing? Why are you trying to kill each other? That survival instinct, you know, that just I want to win. And it's just through time, you know, you find yourself fast forward as a young adult, and I don't know if it's you know, I believe it's by design. I believe it's by design in our schooling. It's just everything. Like it just beats the hell out of you until you just submit. And then you submit and you become part of the 9 to 5, right? You don't get ratty to your boss, right? You don't talk back. You just comply.
Right.
And it's sad. It's sad that that's the world we're living in because I'm like, yo, I want to be a kid like that and just kick everybody's ass. Metaphorically, I did, though. I think I did it. I got the belt around my waist. I did it, Buzz!
Trist, I'm not away. I am home. Here, I'll unblur my background so you guys can see where I'm at. I'm in like a little hanging chair in my room. There's like my desk area. My hallway is bright blue. My bedroom's light blue. It's actually the top half of my room that's painted blue. Like the ceiling and the top half is light blue. And then the rest of the walls are white. This is where I'm at.
Shout out to Lynn, because I got these nice seats. If you see right over here, I got some nice seats.
Yeah.
Once it starts to warm up, I'll be out there. Shout out to my boys for setting it up this morning. They set it up so that we can have it in the background. Soon enough, as soon as it warms, I'll open that door and I'll be out there and be enjoying it.
Yep.
Imagine slapping everyone. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll be like, ah! I'll be like, why are you not happy? Do I gotta Will Smith you?
Yeah, I swear, that was the first thing I thought. When I saw it, I was like, oh man, he's just slapping the boy Ray. He's doing the Ray.
Yeah, somebody got a meme and put my face on Will Smith as I'm coming up to the stage. And then I'd be like, keep happiness in your mouth. Oh, they're already calling out the heat on my feet. All right,
let's see what you got.
So I told Lynn, because Lynn got me some new socks, and I told her, I was like, if Roman Reigns wins, I'm wearing these. And sure enough, he won, so I gotta wear these. So let me take the light off over here. And undo this. Man, I gotta undo the whole setup so I can show it, because I told you, Fuzz, I'm not going up there no more. I'm not doing all crazy trying to lift my foot and everything no more, because you laughing at me. I told you I'm gonna get a whole rig. I'm gonna get a whole foot rig. All right, let's flip the video.
Yo, I lost my smoothie. I was drinking a smoothie.
Eat on the feet.
It's
Lynn,
gone.
you gotta explain them.
Ooh, look at those tribal socks. Those socks are from the deserts of California.
Yes. And since Roman Reigns goes by the tribal chief, I was like, I need to acknowledge him today for winning.
Woo!
So if Roman Reigns is the head of the table, I guess I'm the feet by the chair. I'm the feet by the chair. All right, let me set this back up.
The struggle to show the socks.
No, he wants me to be like, yeah, I can do it. I said I won't do it. I still do it. I'm like, I gotta get it up there. All right. Yes, the struggles you show the socks. That makes Trish's day to see me all struggling. I gotta start. You know what I gotta start doing? I gotta start doing like yoga. Like I gotta start doing the crazy ass poses and like stretching out my legs and everything, so I can freaking do like a midair split, show the socks.
You're just sitting there, both your feet on your shoulders, chilling. Yeah.
What was it? What was that Adam Sandler movie where he smacked the guy with both his feet? That's what I gotta do. What? Yeah, he goes and he smacked the guy, and then he smacks someone with his other foot. I'm like, oh, that's not even possible. There was Don't Mess with the Johan. That's hilarious. All right, so let's get into the topic. Now that we covered the weekend, anything else? Anything else over the weekend? Anything crazy you did in Florida?
I mean, yeah. So Florida was fun. I feel like those 2 days went by so slow. Like her and I were both saying it the whole time. Like, wow, it feels like time is not moving. It was amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah,
it was amazing.
In the time loop.
All right, so Thursday morning, got into a car accident.
Oh,
and,
shit.
All right, so car accident. We're in the shuttle bus. We dropped off the car at like one of those valet like parking places that give you a ride to the airport.
Uh-huh.
So we drop off the car, hop in the shuttle. It's a full shuttle. The shuttle bus driver, he asked for like everybody's terminals. So there was like somebody for A, a few people for B. We were at C. So he goes around, goes to the first terminal, Terminal A. One person gets out. Boom. Goes to the second terminal, Terminal D. Nobody's moving because nobody said Terminal D. So he's all like upset and like he throws it in park and he like opens the driver door, and when he does, like he takes off the mirror of like a passing car. So he hops out, he like walks around, he opens the door, he screams Terminal D again, and then he goes to talk to the people. He comes back, gets in the van, and drives off. And like the other car does some like crazy maneuver to like get in front of us so he doesn't drive off. Like it was a hectic morning. It was a crazy morning.
Well, yeah, he's like, yo, I need your insurance info. You took my mirror off.
Yes. So like he does that maneuver, and like I started riling up like the people in the van with me. I was like, all these terminals connect, right? Like technically we could just dip out right now.
Yeah, just leave.
Yeah,
yep.
like we all have flights to catch. Come on.
I got a flight to catch. There's a shuttle in the airport. My thing about this whole story though is you said you were on Terminal C. Who gets off at Terminal C? What are you flying on? Gypsy Air?
No, I was flying Delta.
Were you flying in like a chicken coop? Who gets on that one?
I was flying Delta. What do you mean?
Delta. Delta's in like Terminal A.
No way. I think Terminal A is international. You don't even know what airport I was on at.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm talking about like Newark.
Wait a minute. You're talking about Stewart. Like, no, that's not where I'm flying out of.
No, because if you think about most terminals, they're going to want the people who are like flying on the high scale airlines to get off at Terminal A.
No, Terminal A is international.
And then B is for budget. And C is for see your ass later. You ain't going nowhere.
Well, no. So this weekend, Delta canceled like 24% of their flights. Like in total. 24% of their flights were either canceled or extremely delayed.
Damn.
Yeah. And that was just from
weather.
They
say reason why?
And the airport that had the most like canceled flights was Orlando Airport. So like our flight out was delayed twice. We ended up having 2 1-hour delays. And then we flew out. Thank God everything, worked out. We got home. But in the airport, like we were seeing the despair. Like people were having their flights canceled. So I guess there was a big storm coming into Florida. And then I think there was another storm.
Well, they always blame it on weather, but
else.
I know the last time there was like a big cancellation was because people were silently protesting against some of the
like the flight attendants and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they couldn't organize. What they would do is they would just be like, "I'm sick today," and so like a bunch of people were taken out sick. I think it was like flight attendants and pilots. They were just like, "I'm sick," and then of course you hear in the news because they made it all seem like it was like weather and glitches and all that stuff. But then you hear like a week later they're like, "Oh, we're dropping the mandates." It's like, yeah, can't give power to the people, huh?
Yeah.
Fuzz said, "Damn, I'm not flying, too unreliable." Yeah, and that Fuzz is just like I commend Lynn for flying still because I just can't deal with the whole arrogance and the whole power trip that they go through.
Oh, you have no idea.
Didn't you say
like now they're still doing it.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's cross airlines because now I've rode in like 3 different airlines and they're all saying it like, "Oh, please kindly replace your mask between bites and sips."
I'm like, yo, the masks are dropping everywhere else in the world.
Okay.
Your mandate's about to expire here in like, is it this month that it expires, the mandates? The mask mandates?
I don't know.
I think it's like either this month or next month.
April?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's expiring either this month or next month. So it's like, it's a matter of time before you guys are going to drop this. Like, are they really going to let it go? Or are they just so like bent on their power?
We'll see. And
that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing across the board. It is everywhere that people are just like hesitant to relinquish the power that they got, their emergency power they got throughout this whole, last 2 years. This, I'm trying to look for the PC words to say.
And I mean, it's been like a weird transition throughout it all. It was weird to start wearing the mask. It was weird to stop wearing them. It was weird to start wearing them again. Like, it's been just a weird transition. And I think being on a flight with, no one having masks on, like, that may be a little intimidating still.
You think so? Mm-hmm. With the clean air that's circulating in those planes?
Which is crazy,
like, I heard they're more sterile.
When you're on the plane, you can feel it. The air is moving and... I've never felt like, oh my God, this is scary. Somebody's coughing behind me and I'm terrified on the plane. But, you think about it when somebody coughs on the plane. You're like, hey, two's too many. It was okay to cough before, but you're doing too much now.
So wait, are you like the first cough? Are you like a dog? You're like, you don't look yet. Your head pops up.
I don't look, nothing. I just hear it. I hear it, and when my eyes do move. I do like a shift in my eyes.
Yeah. And then the second cough comes, and you're like, the head turns just a little bit. It just turns just a little bit. And then by the third cough, you're getting up, you're looking around, like, who is it? Are you freaking out?
Yo, like, it was intimidating when I went to the concert. Like, again, it's not like, oh my God, I need to put my mask on. But it's like, wow, like, we're really all out here, no masks. Like, we've all let it go.
That's how it should be. Like, stop getting, I don't understand. This is like the first time I've ever heard, like, just people so scared of getting sick. Like, it happens. You gotta let your body, like your body has to adapt to it. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't get that. It's like, you gotta, just like, working out, just like reading a book. You got to train your body. You got to train your mind, right? You got to take that stuff in. It's like you got to build your immune system. Like, people are so paranoid.
Yeah.
They say like people now, people who use those hand sanitizers and are always like cleaning and all the panicking and all that shit. Mm-hmm. Like, they're like more susceptible to getting sick.
That's crazy.
Like, it's reversing what they're trying to prevent. Mm-hmm. Because their body is just so fragile. They're like, oh, I'm going to get sick. And then they get sick.
We have a bug going around in my house right now.
Yeah, I know. I heard it. And I think I might have caught it.
No, it's going around. Change of season.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yep. Our bodies will
Good thing is, though, the good thing is that if I do feel bad, I'll just go out there and go for a walk.
There you go.
Just go for a walk, get some air, maybe take some honey. That's another thing. They say, like, for allergies, like, if you take local honey, like if, let's say you put it in a tea or something, you take it for like a week, it'll help with your allergies.
Oh, nice. That's good to know.
Yes. So if you suffer allergies, get local. It has to be local honey. It can't be like something you get in the store because that's gonna be bees from like Cali or something. I don't know.
No, we have like those. We have those shops like along the major highways. There are like those shops where you go. It's like, oh, shop local,
yeah,
like
the little farmer
Taste
markets.
of New York, you know.
Yep. So you get local honey, and then that should help with the allergies.
I like getting their the maple syrup. Oh, it's so good, so good.
Well, actually, honey has a lot of benefits. I hear people take honey like every single day.
Man, I have honey in my smoothie that I lost. I don't know what happened to my smoothie. I need to go find it.
Yeah. I heard people take
this thing tastes like a milkshake today. It's amazing.
All right, so Fuzz said they give power to never do well and dredge of society. Everybody be power tripping. Yeah, it really is. It really is. And then I heard like New York. This is the thing that gets me. New York City just came out saying that they are going to enforce a mask mandate on 5-year-olds and under. I'm like, do you know the hypocrisy of that? To have 5-year-olds wearing a mask and their parents do not? It's like, how are they supposed to lead by example? Hey, you wear your mask, but I'm not going to wear mine. I'll be damned. At that point, I'll be like, no, I'm not putting a mask. I'm not going to make my kid wear a mask. If nobody else is wearing a mask, he's not wearing a mask.
Yeah, but why,
like
if they're saying, oh, the masks aren't working, the masks don't do nothing, then why would they be mandating children?
They're mandating on the kids. They're mandating on the kids because the vaccine...
getting like those colds that they've been getting lately?
Well, no, they're mandating on the kids because they don't have the vaccine approved for the kids yet, 5 and under. God. But I'm like 5 and under, like they were like this, like there was like a minute number of kids that were getting COVID at that age.
Right.
So like, why are we enforcing them to wear a mask? Which 5 and under, think about that, 5 and under, 4, 3, like a 3-year-old struggling to have a little mask on, he's gonna get antsy with that thing on his face.
Yeah.
Like I don't get why we're still enforcing things like that. That to me just doesn't make any sense. But you know, a lot of people, and this is I'm glad that all of this happened. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad this all happened because you can now see who are going to be the free thinkers who are like thinking and analyzing the things that happen against the sheeps. And there's a lot of sheeps. And it's funny because like, I don't even now throughout the last 2 years, everybody's like, oh, trust the science. I'm like, the science could be manipulated. You know, it could be politically driven. It could be you could tell me certain stats. Not just that,
but science, like scientists to really, measure things. It takes years. It takes years of trial and error and seeing what the long-term effects are.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is why I said it could be manipulated because you could set up a trial that's in your favor, right?
Yeah.
You could set it up where it's like a certain amount of numbers.
Yeah.
Or you're not showing all of the variables, right? Like you're saying, oh, it's good in this test case, but you're not telling how it failed in this test case. Like, I mean, at this point, I'm putting like science in quotation marks. I'm like, yeah, trust the science. I'm questioning everything at this point. But I was like that before. I was questioning a lot of stuff before all this happened. So it's kind of fitting to see how all of this came out. Because like the same thing they did with leading up to election year in 2019, and they were just manipulating the news for certain candidates and trying to, disrupt the reputation of other candidates, right? They did the same thing with the narrative when it came to the last 2 years. Fuzz said they need to get them young to acclimate them to mask wearing. It's a cult. Yeah, it is a cult. It really is a cult. And it's sad because in that same sense, it goes back to they're going after the kids again with this whole Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, which let me clear that up. That was a narrative that was given to the bill by the media. There's nowhere in the bill that it actually talks about that. The bill just talks about teachers can't talk about sex education to kids between pre-K and I think 5th grade or something like that. It's like that, like no sex education. Like wait till they're a little older, until they're going through puberty to talk about sex ed. And it comes to find out that a lot of these people, they've been grooming these kids. They've been talking to them about, oh, what's your sexual orientation? You think you want to be a girl? You think you want to be a boy? It's like, why are we doing that? Which is funny because somebody asked the question the other day. They were like, does the term tomboy, exist anymore? The little girl that would act like a boy, or is she just now a boy? Because I remember growing up, there was a lot of tomboys, but they grew out of that. They became more feminine as they started to grow, as puberty came around. And so it's like, just like anything in our lives, we go through phases. We go through phases of our lives, and it's crazy that you want to lock a kid in to an identity at the age of like 5. Welcome back, Lynn.
Hey! I just quietly left the screen, like, I'll be back.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it. It's all right. I was going on a rant.
You were. It's so funny. I came back up, and I was like, oh, he's still going. I love this.
Yeah, I'm still going. I was on a rant.
So I found my smoothie.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Oh, you got me in a mason jar and everything?
It tastes like a milkshake because I used almond milk. I haven't had almond milk before, so yeah, it tastes kind of good.
Almond milk. You're lactose intolerant?
I am not.
Why almond milk?
Because we really don't need as much dairy in us as we believe, and dairy's not good when you have like any kind of like mucus buildup.
Mm.
So
well,
I
you do know
try
that
almond milk.
You do know that milk is a great source of protein, right?
Yes, it is.
And for your full protein, you got to get that from an animal. You can't get that from a plant. So you do get some kind of protein from nuts, but you don't get your full source of proteins. Mm-hmm. That comes from animals.
You're supposed to have like actual protein.
Yeah.
Like meat.
Yep. Meat, chicken, eggs, cheese. Oh, here we go. All right. Trish said Lynn is gonna be gone for an hour looking for this movie. Don't you know? She had to go get she went out to the backyard. She had to pick the fruits. She's picking the fruits. She's watering her new plants.
Yo, I'm going to share the struggle, though. I went downstairs. I found my smoothie, and then I was like, oh, I may as well just, like, use the bathroom while I'm down here. So then I go to use the bathroom, and I noticed, like, I have a one-piece on. So I had to take off my shirt. I had to practically, like get everything off.
Oh, my God. Like,
I was, like, raised up there talking. This is taking forever.
Oh, in that sense, you were actually kind of quick if you had to get freaking naked just to pee. Why would you do that to yourself? Do you see how complicated women are? And they expect us to understand them. Like, I don't understand. Yo, I got 1, 2, 3 pieces of clothing on. That's including my socks. And the only reason why I'm wearing socks right now is for this show. I'm like, yo, do you know how complicated that is?
You only have 3 pieces of clothing on?
Yeah, my hoodie, my shorts, and the socks. 4 if you count the 2 socks. Well,
so you don't even have a t-shirt under your hoodie?
Hell no. After this show, I'm taking this off and get back naked. What are you talking about? Oh, why would I do all that? If I gotta pee, I'm lifting like one short leg over to the side and I'm peeing that way. That's what we're doing. Like, yo, I am man, hear me roar. What are you complicating your life?
Oh my God, so complicated. You have no idea.
Like, why do you gotta go through all this, like, I was gonna say mental gymnastics, but this is actually physical gymnastics.
It is.
To freaking pee. Like, your natural body, like, you gotta do that. You didn't think putting all that stuff on that at some point you would have to pee?
And not to mention, you know what? I didn't even think of that until I was there, faced with the scenario. I was like, ah, shit.
Yo, you know what, though? You know, I commend you. You were definitely being present in the moment. You were definitely present in the moment. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh shit. Fuzz said no t-shirt under hoodie equals Lynn mind blown. Where's the emoji, the exploding emoji?
It's just weird.
Why do you think I got it all the way zipped up? Why do you think I got it all the way zipped up? I'm just like...
No, but what happens if like the zipper catches a hair or something?
Oh, you don't know. I'm hairless as a motherfucker. Look, I ain't got nothing down there.
Nothing?
I haven't hit puberty.
Damn.
If I was to grow, I can't even grow out a beard. I can't even grow out a beard. If I let my hair grow, I look like an Asian dude.
Oh,
Like it really gets like I get the full like really I feel like I'm like should be in a kung fu movie if I let this hair grow. Like it's just weird. I'm like the only thing that grows is my head, and I grow out a fro. That's it. I got that nappy hair from our uncles. Which I don't understand. You got more of the dark side, and you got like better hair than I do.
My hair's just longer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like the weight of it actually like changes the texture.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, your hair gets
Well,
heavy.
no, I tried to let my hair grow out when I was back in the day. Mm-hmm. That was a hot mess.
I remember that. You were all Men in Black with your hair parted.
Yeah, and then I had to shave the sides, to keep it down, or not even be like this. Oh man, I was trying to be a white boy.
Yeah, very Backstreet Boys of you.
yeah, I was trying. I was like, yo, it wasn't working. All right, so let's get into the topic of the day. We're all warmed up now.
All right, topic of the day. What?
Did you lose your thunder?
Where the hell is the topic? I wrote it down.
You picked it.
All right. Allow time to heal.
All right.
Let's talk about it. Allow time to heal. I think that, throughout our life, we're always healing from something, and that's okay. But we need to allow ourselves to to miss people, to miss things. We have to allow ourselves to, acknowledge that there is something that has changed in our life or something that's hurt us. Like for a big one for me is like my children, they became really attached to a man I was dating. So when we broke up, like I didn't want them to feel like it wasn't cool to like miss him. It wasn't cool to like acknowledge that change. So, right. I showed them, I led by example. I was like, hey, like, I really miss him. And, I know you guys were really close to him. Like, what are your thoughts? So, like, I always, like, open it up for them to be able to express themselves. Because it's healthy. And it's something that I feel like we weren't taught as kids. I feel like when my father passed, like, we just stopped talking about him altogether. It was almost like weird when people would mention him. So, like that's something I'm trying to change in my children. Like I want them to be open to speaking about people who have passed, people who were in our lives and are no longer in our lives for whatever the reason. And just acknowledging that hurt.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah.
That's the term. Mm-hmm. That's what you're trying to captivate over there is that you got to embrace the suck. No matter what it may be, whatever turmoil, whatever bad thing that's happening, there's a lesson to be learned there.
Yeah.
And you gotta embrace it. You gotta embrace it sometimes. Because think about, if you look at the outcome of it, right? You look at these people who, that, for example, let's just say the people that we strive to be. Mm-hmm. Be it an athlete, right? Like, oh my God, I aspire to be, an NFL player or an NBA player or something like that. Just for this example, that's all I'm saying, right? Mm-hmm. You got to realize all the stuff they have to go through to be that person. It's like there's a lot of sucky moments compared to the good times. Mm-hmm. Like the good times comes later. Yeah, okay, they're cool. They got signed. They're playing for the NFL. That's great. But think about all the stuff they have to go through
to get there.
Yeah, nobody talks about the countless hours of practice they got to do. I tell my kids that all the time because they're like, oh, I want to be a soccer player. I want to be like Neymar. I want to be like Messi. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, they what they do, right? And I'm like, they're like, no, what do they do? I'm like, they eat, sleep, repeat. Soccer. That's it. That's their lives. Like every time they're awake, they're just playing soccer. They're doing, they're moving. This is how they live their lives. They're doing this whole time, right? And it's like they don't get the concept that they got to constantly, like Michael Jordan said, he was out there constantly throwing shots, mm-hmm. shots after shots after shots, late at night, still tossing those shots. It's like you gotta embrace the suck. Everybody wants the good times, but nobody wants to do the work to get to the good times.
That like reflected in our society with social media, because people were only posting the good times. And
Mm-hmm.
it made other people feel like other people, they viewed other people's lives as idealistic, and and then they were turning it on themselves and feeling shitty about themselves because they couldn't reflect that badassness. Like they didn't
Right.
have that same picture to paint.
Right. Everybody wants the end product.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever sees the work that goes into the end product.
Yeah.
It's like, go back to, I'm going to say YouTube, right? Go back to YouTube and see a good channel and go see like one of their first videos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've done that. I've went back to see just how people started, and you'll see that they started like in their car, because most of the time it's just a car and their phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like what we're doing now. And they're just winging it. They're just trying.
Yeah.
And it's that consistency and getting better each time with practice, right? What's the saying? With practice comes perfection or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Practice makes perfect. You got to keep practicing. You got to keep going. You got to practice. You got to keep, driving yourself. And it's that discipline to want to be better.
Yeah. And that's the key, because, there's no such thing as perfect. You can always be better.
Yes.
But you have to continue practicing. You have to keep trying and striving for it.
Yes. And there's one thing I heard over the weekend. Oh, it was actually the Undertaker. The Undertaker, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And so, here's a man who's been wrestling for 30 years. It's his life. He got a standing 10-minute ovation, right? He got entered into the Hall of Fame. They gave him time to talk. And he was talking about the point of, what he learned, going through the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, remember that the feet you step on climbing your way up, right, are attached to the asses you got to kiss on your way down.
Mm.
So he was like, to be humble. And then another thing he said was, don't be content, which I see a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are just content with where they are.
Content with life. Yeah.
Yes. And they're content with being on easy mode,
mm-hmm.
right? Because that's what it is. A lot of people are they're scared.
They're content and going with the flow.
Mode. Yes. And so easy mode, they understand it, they're content with it. And really what you have to do is you got to tell yourself, am I better than I was yesterday? That's what you got to keep telling yourself over and over. And then always strive to be a better person.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just little things a little change you make today, so that tomorrow you're better, then that's a win. That's a W in my book.
Absolutely. I wrote down the timestamp.
Clip it?
Yeah, we gotta get some clips out of this.
All right, let's clip it. Fun said steroids. I don't know. I've always go back and forth with the debate of steroids. I think that it's called performance enhancement. Take the fact it does enhance you, but you still got to perform, and that's still the natural ability of the person. Mm-hmm. So I think steroids has come a long way. I think it's not like how it used to be back in the 80s. I think that if it was approved and managed by a doctor that can, check your signs and all that to make sure you're doing it the right way, you're not overdoing it, I think that we should have that. I think why not be the natural, the best humans we can be, right? And if everybody's on a level playing field, right, why not take it and enhance yourself so you can be the best you can be?
It's like you were explaining to me when we spoke about this over the weekend, like, you and I can't take steroids and suddenly be great athletes.
Exactly.
We're not going to go and start hitting home runs. Like, we don't have it in us.
Right. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I just took some steroids, then go bounce around in WWE. Yeah, I'm gonna get hurt real quick. You gotta understand. But if it could be something where you could be the best, like you drove yourself to the extreme and you want to be the best. Look, I get it. There's some people are gonna be like, no, I'm all natural, and that's great. You've been gifted that natural, edge against your competition. But if you could go ahead, if we're making rules where men can play in women's sports, right?
Yeah.
And they got natural testosterone and they're playing in women's sports, then why not? Especially those women. Why not give those women an edge if they want to take an edge?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, are you gonna tell me that a man who has natural testosterone comes in and says, "I'm trans, I'm gonna play against these women," and now these women can't go and take steroids to compete against this man if they want to go and beat him and be the, number one when he has natural testosterone in him? Like, I don't get that. That to me is just, that's mind-boggling. I'm like, wait, that don't make no sense.
Yeah, my issue with that is crossing altogether. Like, I feel like I don't think I think that should disqualify them from being able to compete.
Who? The man?
Yeah.
A trans woman?
Yeah.
It's the world we're living in.
Something else with your life. Like, it's just, it's not fair.
No, it's not. It's the world we're living in. And if you talk against it, you're the bigot. You're the evil person for talking against it. And unfortunately, the only way that they're gonna stop that and say, hey, natural women are the only ones competing is the women who compete against those trans women. They have to say, I'm not competing against that. I'm not competing against her because she has a natural advantage and I don't.
Right.
They gotta call that. And then when that person is competing with themselves, then that's when people are going to take notice and say, hey, you know what? This ain't fair. They do have an advantage. Because they're winning. I mean, they're winning left and right. You hear stories and they're like, oh my God, so remarkable. It's funny too, because it was like, I think a Times article. And they were like, oh, these were like the women of the year. And they were all trans men.
No way.
So I'm like, so men know how to be women better?
What? Relax. That's not what they meant. That's not what they were saying. You need to go back and reread that article.
That's hilarious. I was like, we do everything.
It's so funny because it's usually women who say that.
Yeah, I know.
We can do everything a man can, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah, look at us. We can do everything.
Oh my God, there are so many things that I refuse to do. Like clearing the drain in the bathroom, like in the tub. I don't want to do that. I know it's my hair. I don't want to do that. I need a man in my life. Like,
you don't want to do that? You just
I don't want to do that. Fuck that. No, you get all that out. I'm going to go cook dinner.
So what do you do? You make your son do it?
No, I have. So all three of my kids know how to do it.
Oh, really?
All three know. Yep.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, all the stuff that I don't like doing, I'm teaching my children to like not make a big deal about it because I don't want to handicap them the way I am.
But you are, in a weird way, you're doing it just because they watch you and they reflect from you. It's crazy because like your fears in life is slowly becoming their fears in life.
That's just my daughter being dramatic. She's not really scared.
No, because I think you're terrified of spiders, and I feel like you're starting to feed that into them.
No, I'm not. I go out of my way so that they're not afraid of spiders.
I hope so, because it's like, it's weird to me sometimes. Like,
it's funny, yesterday, my youngest, he was like underneath my bench. And I was like, ew, there could be spiders under there. He's like, I don't care. I'm not afraid. I'm like, yes, baby. Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one that I'm really trying not to get my kids to catch on to, because that sucks. Like, there's been times where, like, I'll be driving and a spider will run across my windshield and, like, I have to pull over. I have to. Like, at that point, like, my senses are, like spiked. Like, I have the adrenaline running through me. I'm scared. And that's so unsafe.
You know, I laugh, but that happened to me once. It was like a bee that came in, right? And I'm like swatting away. And I'm trying to jump. I'm like, yo, leave me the freaking out, bee. So I was like, you know what? Let me pull this over and let the bee out before I fucking kill myself.
Not
trying
safe.
to get the bee.
Like...
I'm like, leave me alone, bee. It was like a movie.
When my daughter was young, she was like 2. We were in a car. I was in the passenger seat. She was in the back in the middle, and she had her aunt by her. And a damn dragonfly flew in the windows. So all the windows were open. We were like on the highway, like we were going like faster. And dragonfly flies in. The aunt screams, freaks the hell out. I look at my daughter, and now my daughter's like, ah! Because she's freaking out. So she's like, oh my God, I should be freaking out. Oh, it was horrible. It was so horrible, but...
Oh, I can only imagine that car. So the three of y'all were just screaming hysterically. Oh my goodness. Yeah, just the three of you just screaming as the car's just going off a cliff. Like Tom and Louise. Oh, that's hilarious.
But we do. We teach those fears. Things happen at any moment, man. You're just in your car. Bugs start messing with you. Like, come on.
Yeah. So it was cool that you acknowledged the pain that your kids were going through and you helped them go through the whole grieving process. Mm-hmm. So what tips do you have for that? Like, how do you heal? Like, how does one heal themselves? Like you say, give time, but what should they do within that process to heal?
For me, it's actually like facing the emotions, you know, so crying it out, you know, just actually allowing yourself to feel the emotions. You know, if you're angry, feel angry, you know, do some screaming. Find healthy ways for you to actually express those feelings, because holding those feelings in is what keeps us stuck on whatever it was that happened. You know, and it goes back to having like a strong tribe. You know, strengthen the tribe around you. You know, have somebody who you can confide in. Someone who will, like, you know, they won't try to fix your problems for you, but they'll lend you an ear. You know, someone who you can be like your board.
When we say tribe too, that could also be your social circle. Mm-hmm. Like the people just around you, your friends, you know, just a good social circle that's willing to acknowledge you're going through something and say, hey, let's even if they're throwing you know, diversions. Hey, let's go out. Let's go. Let's hit the bar. Let's hit the club. Let's go for dinner. Let's just get out. Because just that process of going out, that could help you realize, hey, life still goes on. Mm-hmm. You know, there's still good stuff out here.
And know yourself too. Like, know what kind of situations bring you peace. Like, if going out, you know, is gonna liven you up, great. But if what you really need to do is, you know, go on a hike, tell your friend that. Be like, hey, I don't want to go out, but can we get out into the woods? Can we go hiking? Can we go for a walk? Mm-hmm. You know, can we go to the library? Like, whatever it is for you.
Agree. Also, don't take don't take life so serious. That's a good one. I feel a lot of people got to learn that, you know, it's okay to just laugh at yourself sometimes, laugh at your mistakes. You know, don't take it so serious, because, you know, what you think might be bad, you know, the saying goes, you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? It's the same thing. It's like what you think may be so bad in your life right now, somebody else has it worse. And when you acknowledge that, when you say, you know what, it's not that bad, you actually get a better perspective on how you can fix whatever you may be in. Because I think I do think that in this day and age, a lot of people do take things too serious. Yeah. That's why you see people like stressing about
very hard on ourselves.
Yes. And then people are very, you know, they're stressed in on their online persona, right? Like you see people who freak out when, you know, they post a photo and nobody likes it, right? Or then somebody puts a bad comment. And I'm like, that's what you're freaking out about in life? That's what you're freaking out about. Like, that's crazy. I don't get that.
Well, like, for us, like, we, growing up before social media gave us a different perspective. You know, like, for us, like, we realized, like, we see it for what it is, you know? Like, people on social media, they're just boasting about, you know, the positives in their life. You know, like, that's not the full picture.
Right. And it was funny, too, because, like, growing up, you know, it was, like you said, we were closed out. We were closed off. We were isolated from the rest of the world. So when you would go to school, right, and that persona you were in school, if it wasn't liked or whatever, as soon as you got home, that shit was all dropped, right? You got home, and then it was family. You know, family loves you, right? For most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, unless you're in a bad family, hey, you know what? That's only going to make you stronger. But for the most part, most people, family loves you, right? You come home, you're accepted. And then who's the people around you after school? Your friends, right?
Right.
So you would go
The
and you go
people
on
that
your
you're
little
choosing
adventures.
to be around.
Right, right. And then you would go, people you had in common, you would go and you would have fun. And maybe there was like a neighborhood bully or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now people are putting their business online and there's bullies everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And so people don't know how to deal with that. People don't know how to deal with that. Or the persona that you have in one place is now the persona you have to keep up everywhere else. Right? Like think about these kids. Like they posting on Instagram and they're trying to be, Mr. Popular in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be Mr. Popular 24/7 now. Like how stressful that is. Like you can't just
true.
come home. like I remember just coming home from school, getting a bowl of cereal and watching some Power Rangers. Can you imagine? Now you can't do that. You can't do that. It's like you gotta be like, oh, I'm gonna take a photo over here, I gotta take a photo here. And it's like almost like a job now. Like you gotta keep this image. Like having an image is a job.
Yeah.
And for some people, yeah, they get the followers and they're getting paid. That's great. But for most people who are putting themselves through these hoops, they're not at that level. They're not verified. They don't have the massive followers, yet they're still doing all this stuff. And it's like, no wonder they're stressed out. No wonder they're worried about, oh my God, how's my image?
Yeah.
Oh my God, why did the person say something?
Because they're putting too much importance on something that's not important at all.
Exactly. And it's like after a while, like you should realize, like if you don't have the draw for whatever it may be, should you keep stressing about this? Now, if this is something you really want to be, you really want to be an influencer, right? Mm-hmm. Then that does that go back to what we were saying earlier? Practice makes perfect.
I think so. I think if you really want to be an influencer, if you really, feel like that's your calling to, share with the world, then yeah, just keep practicing, keep going at it. And, you have to actually do it with intention though. You can't just, do whatever trends you see are going on. Like, no, you have to have a reason. Like, what is your story that you're telling?
But you also gotta...
in what way are you motivating people?
Right, but you also got to think that the mental fortitude you got to have to put yourself out there like that, though. Mm-hmm. And like these kids are trying to do it because they're like, oh, I want to be an influencer, at a young age or whatever. And they're putting themselves out there. And it's like they're getting the backlash, right? Because like we said before, people are not their true selves online, right? Because hiding behind a screen, you can talk shit, right? And people are just gonna be mean, and these kids don't know how to take that that emotion that comes with all that. So it's like, how do we know, like, hey, you have what it takes, right, to go through all that shit, because practice does make perfect, right? And you finally break and you finally get up there, or hey, you're just putting this mental toll on you unnecessary.
Well, I mean, I think if you really want to be an influencer and, social media is just a little too intimidating for you, you can become an influencer locally first. Mm-hmm. Like you can create groups and you can, create events and advertise that locally and, connect with people, IRL. Like let's go to this park on this day and like this is what we're going to do.
I like that you said that. That's a great idea because it lets you see the real side of humanity as opposed to this anonymous face online.
Yeah.
I think you would see a lot more people rooting for you. A lot more people doing what it would take to like help you. Let's say for example, there's a young lady who wants to be an online chef, right? She makes recipes. She was always good with food and all that. And she wants to put her presence out there with food, right? Mm-hmm. And online, let's say there's people bullying her saying, oh, your food is crap, blah, 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 right? All this. Maybe making fun of her appearance, whatever it may be, right? Mm-hmm. But then she goes and she wants to show her recipe at a local restaurant, right? I think when she goes there and she tells her story, I think like the owner, maybe the chef, like a lot of people would be inspired by that.
Yeah.
I think if they're not, normal people, they're gonna be inspired. They're gonna want to help. They're gonna want to put fire, in her, invigorate her to keep going forward.
Yes.
Right. So I think, and plus the whole let's say she goes to the restaurant and she has a camera set up and she's working with them. I think the whole experience itself would boost her motivation to continue doing it.
Yeah.
Because
morale,
she actually has local people. Boost her morale because she has local people who's rooting for her. She has a face now, you know? And they're like, oh, this is great. Especially if she has it. Like, she does have a gift with food, they're going to say it. They're going to let her know. Like, oh, this is a great dish, blah, blah. Maybe they serve it that night. Maybe the people at the restaurant are like, oh, this is good and all that. And in that sense, like, I think that's, like, you nailed it when you said, go, start in real life. Start locally. Because one of the channels that, I'm inspired by, that's what they did. They actually started locally. They went to car meets. They're car guys. They went to car meets, and they were just the motivation from the car meets and the people there. The people saying, "Hey, yo, we ride with you. We're gonna do this with you." That motivation is what kept them going.
Yeah.
So then eventually they said, "Well, let's go to our local dealers and let's see if they'll let us review their cars." And sure enough, they're like, "Yeah, we see what you're trying to do. Sure." And that's how the channel grew, and it was like a grassroots movement. So I'm glad that you said that, because that's really on point with that one.
Yeah. I think also we have to be like, when we say like don't be so hard on ourselves, we have to understand that everything we decide to do in life is a process. There's always a learning curve. Like, once you decide like, hey, I want to change my life, great. It's not going to be an overnight change.
It's not.
Like, doesn't matter what you want to do, it's not going to be an overnight change.
No, and the big hesitation is going to come from you.
Mm-hmm.
As much as we think like, oh, people are going to knock me down, people are going to do this. No, the big hesitation is going to be in here.
Yep.
It's going to start with you. It's going to start with your whole doubt. It's going to be doubt in your head that you're like, can I do this? Can I really do this? Am I really going to be doing this? And then as you do it, it's like the creative mindset. Like, an artist is never truly happy with their painting, right? Mm-hmm. Right? They always want to fix something. They always want to change something. They're always like, oh no, this is trash. But it's the rest of the world's like, oh my God, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
So it's that whole sense. It's like, you're going to be your worst critic. You're going to be hard on yourself. You're going to doubt yourself, But you got to give yourself the time to prove yourself to yourself. If that makes any sense. Like, you got to prove it to yourself.
And make sure that, you are proving it to yourself. You're not just searching for that, like, outside validation, because, depending on the day of the week, you catch somebody on the wrong day and who could be, like, your biggest cheerleader is now going to put you down because whatever they're going through. They have their own lives, Like, so you have to find it inside of you to reassure yourself and say, yeah, this, what, I can do this. I can bring this to life.
Yes. And as you go through the movements, if people are not with you, you got to let them go.
Yeah.
If there's people holding you down, you have to learn to cut ties. And that's one thing, like, you got to realize, like, this is your life. This is your dream, right? It's your life. It's your story. How are you going to write your story? Are you going to let other people write your story for you? Are you going to let other people hold down your story so that their story's better? Like, you gotta understand, like, if you gotta cut ties, you gotta cut ties.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't take it as a negativity. You gotta understand, like, look, there's a phase. I go through phases. You go through phases, and you're my friends at this phase, but you may not be my friends on this phase because I'm a different person.
Yeah. That's something I'm looking at.
I'm a different person.
It's like something I'm analyzing in my life now because, it is important, the people who you keep around you. And, people move and other people come into your life. And you always want to, like, you know, analyze what it is, the kind of energy that you're allowing into your life.
Right.
You know, just because, like, somebody, like, you're gravitating towards them doesn't mean, like, hey, they have to be your best friend. They have to be around you all the time. Like, you know, like, make sure that you're setting boundaries and you're protecting your own mental health and your own well-being in the process. Mm-hmm. You can't always give yourself 100% and not, you know, without protecting that inner warrior that you have in you. Because life is tolling. Life is tolling. Yes, like there are people who they'll rely on you, and you know they'll drag you down with them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You have to pay attention to the kind of influences you have around you.
Right, and then going back to grievance, and like you said, giving your time to heal. Mm-hmm. A lesson that we all have to learn, and we should really strive to teach this at a young age on our children, is that when you're feeling a sense of a negative energy in you, let's try to turn that to a positive energy. Mm-hmm. So when you're feeling sad about a certain somebody, right? Why not go do something you used to do with that person? Mm-hmm. The person can't be in your life. Like you said, you broke up with somebody, right? You still love them, but you love them from afar. Mm-hmm. Why not go do something that you used to do, but do it with yourself? Yeah. So now you're taking a positive memory, right? Mm-hmm. And you're enforcing it with self-love. So if there was like a restaurant that you used to go to, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want to remember it. Right. No, it's part of the healing process. You go back there. You go back there and you date yourself. You love yourself in that moment. Mm-hmm. You take back that memory. You take back that positivity. And then you even say to yourself, like you think about the person. You say, man, thank you for that memory. Thank you for this place. Thank you for all that. But that was, great memories in that time, mm-hmm. right? I still love you, but stay over there. Yeah. It's like people don't think like that. We don't think about like it's either it's yay or nay with some people. It's like either I'm happy and I can't think about I'm just positive. I can't think about nothing negative, or I'm negative and I can't think about nothing positive.
Which is crazy because they balance each other.
They do.
So you can't have one without the other.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Like
how can you truly enjoy and appreciate being alive and, just being who you are if you've never had difficult times?
Right.
Are you really appreciating it? Like, do you even know a difference?
Right. And you know what's funny is like the one of the big sayings is like dance in the rain, right? Like everybody's like, well, dance in the rain. But think about that. That's a positive act in a negative atmosphere, right? Mm-hmm. Well, really what it should be is cry in the rain. Crying in the rain would be more natural, right? Yeah. Because it's a negative act in a negative situation, right? So yeah, that would make more sense. But that's not what people want to strive. People strive to dance in the rain. Dance in the rain, yeah. Right?
Yeah. So you get lemons, they're sour, you make lemonade.
Right. So in your life, whenever you're going through something negative, try to strive to bring yourself positive. And if you're doing something positive, a great way to heal is to think about the negative and think about, like, why did I let that get to me so much? Mm-hmm. Like, I know you probably out there when you got a drink or two in you there with your girls, right? And you out there, you dancing, you having a good time, there's some boppies all around, and I know you like, forget that. You're like, forget that dude, right? You're like, I don't know what I saw in that dude anyway. I'm out here doing me, right? But at least you're giving yourself that moment to think about that, mm-hmm. right? And heal. Let yourself heal in that sense. If it takes that strike, that spark of emotion, that fire, to get you to, like, take the fire and literally burn it on the wound, mm-hmm. like cauterize the wound, that's what you got to do sometimes. Like you said, like you got to go on the top of the mountain. Like you climb up the mountain, and at the top of the mountain, you got to scream. Ah! You did that the other day. I can only imagine what else you said. Yep. Off the screen, what else did you say? All right, so we're about an hour into the show. Should we reintroduce the show? We gotta remember to do that.
If you're new to the channel, welcome.
Yes.
We're Sibling Rivalry. I'm Lynn.
I'm Ray. And please feel free to, if you like what you're hearing, comment, like, subscribe, be part of the live chat. You're very welcome. We want to hear what you guys got to say. We're here for advice. We're here for help. We see life differently, and we're trying to instill that in everybody else, right?
Yeah, we're trying to share. We're trying to share our positivity and raise your vibration, raise your vibe.
Yes.
So I was thinking of your one song, Pásame la botella.
Yeah.
Nombre de ella.
All right, so to translate, he's out in the spot, and he's like, yo, pass me the bottle, right? You want the full bottle. So me, it would be like a full bottle of bourbon. Like, yo, pass me the bottle. And he's like, tonight, I'm going to drink in her name. And that's it. Like, he's out having a good time. He's throwing the bottle back in her name, but he's still having a good time. He's like, yo, it is what it is, all right? It is what it is.
Yo, so that's what you have to accept. Like, when life gets hard, like, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, why are you going to stress it? Why are you going to stress it?
And if you go through some, I'm talking to the fellas out here because I know a lot of fellas out here, we're simping. It's the nature of the beast. We simping out here. And you know what? If you wake up one day and you're like, F this, I don't want to simp anymore. Just don't be hard on yourself. Just laugh at it. Like, I can't believe I did that shit. But at least you don't do it again. Don't do it again. But just laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself so hard.
Key. Yup. Some lessons are really hard to
learn your lesson,
but
have your boundary,
Yep.
And then laugh at it. Just gotta laugh at yourself. Like, you gotta laugh sometimes. Let it go. Don't be so hard on yourself, because that's the only way you're gonna strive to be better.
Fuzz is bringing up last episode how I fell asleep.
She did not stop all weekend long. She's like, I can't believe I did that. I was like, yo, once again, you can't be hard on yourself.
I haven't had any more of that squeeze.
I'm guarantee you didn't take anything today, right?
No, I did. So I had a nice morning. Once all the kids were out the door, I rolled something up. I smoked that, and then I worked out. But I did a workout with the Oculus, what I've been doing, and it was a special Disney one. So it was Disney songs. So I was all I knew all the words, and I was hitting the targets, and I had a great morning.
Good. Yeah. Good. So let's pivot a little, and let's talk about some current affairs.
Okay. What's currently going on?
So did you hear that Elon Musk bought the major share of Twitter?
I did not hear this.
Yeah, so he's now the largest shareholder on Twitter.
Of Twitter.
Yeah, so I wonder if he gets to, have his say and input as far as Twitter's day-to-day. Because he's a big proponent for free speech.
Okay.
So he's definitely pro, free speech. And in the last few years, Twitter's been censoring. And if you don't recall, they banned Donald Trump,
Yeah.
and certain people. So people were like, oh, this is the first step in censoring at least, the right side and, Republicans and, whatever conservatives, whatever you want to call them, and, you're just going to have the one side and just the narrative of the one side on Twitter. So I'm curious, what's your take on that?
So it's nice to hear that somebody who's a little more pro free speech is taking a more active role, because I truly believe that the censoring us on the internet is book burning. It's book burning. The correct thing to do is to teach our youth that don't believe all the shit you see on the internet. That's what we should be doing. We should be teaching, we should be bringing up a generation of free thinkers who know that, what you consume on social media is just that. It's content. It's like watching a movie. And we should definitely allow people to say what they want to say on here.
You know what I think? You know what I want? I think the news, we should have like a censor, not a censor. You know how like video games have ratings?
Yeah.
Or movies have ratings?
Right.
And they tell you what the ratings are for? I think the news should have that. I think the news channel should have that. And I think we should start stressing that news is not like, it's entertainment. It's a form of entertainment. Like we need to start calling that out. Like you guys are very opinionated, so you're not the news anymore. You are a form of entertainment. So I think we need to call that out so people know like, hey, I can't take this serious because it's entertainment.
Right.
It's reality TV. Like you don't take, well, I mean, it depends. Like I was gonna say, you don't take like Keeping Up with the Kardashians as factual news, right?
Right.
You're just like, oh, this is a form of entertainment. So I think that's what we need to do with the news as well. So let's see what the comment says, because I see stuff popping. It said, I don't trust Musk. You can't get that rich without being compromised. I agree with you in that sense, Fuzz, in that he knows certain people. And I know he had certain conversations that we're not privy to. And you're right. It's like if you want to make it anywhere in the business, you know, you gotta play ball sometimes. So is he like, you know, as a wrestling fan, you know, I know it's, you know, not real, but I know this writer's a story. So is he part of a story? And is he the face, right? Because that's how wrestling is. You got the face and you got the heel, right? You got the bad guy, and then you got the face. And you think, oh, the face is gonna save you, right? And then eventually what does the face do? He turns, right? He goes heel. So is he the face right now? Is he the face that's like presenting himself and is like, oh my God, this is the savior. This is the guy who's gonna save us. And then he's gonna turn his back on us? Because I personally, I'm kind of rooting for Musk. You know, I like Musk. I like the stuff he's striving for. You know, he was the first one years ago with saying, hey, we need, you know, alternative means of transportation. And if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't be leading the discussion right now as far as electric vehicles. Because Ford, all these other, you know, makers, they laughed at the idea, right? Now they're playing catch up because they see that it's marketing, right? So I don't know which way I'm kind of optimistic right now because there really isn't anybody else.
That's crazy to think, you know, like that there really is no one else who's like stepping up and doing. You know, like all these like wild fantasies we had about what the future is gonna look like. Who's actually out here trying to create that future? You know, where are the scientists that are, you know, creating the hoverboards and the, you know, like where's the tech? Like,
I mean,
so
the best thing we got right now.
He is doing what he does with that, and then he has like the solar panels. Like he's looking for different ways of powering the stuff that we need, our day-to-day stuff.
Right. And the only reason why, like right now, space is like a big topic is that it's a pissing contest between two billionaires. Between Elon Musk and I can't think of his name from Amazon. Baldy from Amazon. So it's
he said Baldy, and I'm thinking Baldy's Basics.
You see the robot dogs in China, man. Robots are crazy. Like the advancement that they're coming up with robots, man. Would you ever have a robot?
I would have a robot.
Would you have a robot helping out?
I would.
You wouldn't be creeped out like iRobot or something that it would kill you?
No.
No. Bezos. That's right. Fuzz always helping me out because I was getting brain farts in here. It's like whatever. That bald-headed dude. He's a billionaire. He can take a bald joke. It's so funny.
Like you definitely.
I don't know if they can take a bald joke because now rich people can't take bald jokes.
Oh Lord, no, he didn't.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Did you see SNL go in on Will Smith and Jada?
No.
Oh my gosh! So they get the SNL has like the weekend update where it's like two people acting like they're telling the news. And so they went for like 5 minutes straight going through the news. And it's funny because I'm probably going to butcher the joke, but Michael Shea was like, so you can't make fun of anything nowadays. He was like, if I start making fun of the cold, I'm going to have somebody yelling at me. Hey, stop making fun of my small dick. And he's like, keep my small penis out your mouth.
Oh my god.
Oh, this shit was hilarious. And it's funny because if those two would have just let the moment pass, it was a corny joke. He would have gotten his award, and it would have been the greatest night ever for Will Smith, right?
Yeah.
And because of that stupid reaction, now people are clowning on him. The thing that he didn't want, everybody's doing. Everybody's keeping Jada in their mouth.
Yeah.
And it's a bad taste, but they're keeping it there because it's just hilarious. Like, I was just watching clips of, like, just the memes. The memes are just awesome. The memes are awesome. Comedians, like, I mean, they just had jokes for days, just roasting them too. Just roasting. And it's just like, there's a lesson to be learned, people. Don't take life so serious. Laugh at things, you know. Learn some composure, some self-control. If something is just bothers you, deal with it later or just laugh at it. But I think, you see, he's in a bad spot because I think that's what he thought before, right? He was like, oh, let's talk about it. Let's get it out in the air and let me just roll with it. And it's starting to take its toll on him. Right? Like, they went on that red table. They exposed their whole relationship, right? And he's like, oh, we're different, whatever, trying to think that whole, I'm strong, I have a strong frame, I'm good. And then it started to take its toll. And then now that's fast forward, that's what happened, last week, right? Yeah. Last week, it was last Sunday, right? Week? Not this Sunday that passed. Yeah, it's only been a week. It's not like forever. That's why I had to check, because, man, the memes and the jokes don't stop. I love it.
They definitely do.
Oh, I love it. Oh.
Alopecia is the new leukemia.
Oh, is it? I've never even heard of that. Like, I never heard of it until, like, people were like, that's just, like, I was like, what is it? I thought it was like a cancer or something. And they're like, no, it's just, that's the terminology for being bald. I was like, oh, okay. What it happens is like, if you look at her head, she showed it. It's like one part of her head doesn't grow hair.
Okay.
So it's like a little scar. So if she wanted to, she could grow out her hair and cover it. So I don't know. And to me, wasn't she like always bald?
She would go back and forth. She would have short haircuts though.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, come on. When you do something, See,
that's what lavish. I feel. That's why I feel that she really like missed out on a huge opportunity here, because she showed up and like she looked great. Dress looked good. The cut looks good on her. It's a look that she can wear well. She has a good shaped head, like she has the face for it. And she could have laughed at the joke. If it wasn't funny to her, she didn't have to laugh, but she took life too seriously in that moment. When she had the opportunity to be a symbol of like strength for women who are healing around the world.
Well, going down the rabbit hole, apparently Chris Rock was making jokes on her a few years ago, too. So I guess she might have been like, oh, here we go again. So I don't know. I'm not defending Jada. I'm just, because I know she's toxic. So I'm like, I'm not defending her. I'm just saying, maybe that was the mindset she was in. Like, oh, boy, here we go again. Because he was making jokes of her back when she was protesting the Oscars. So you remember when the Oscars were like, oh, Oscars so white or something like that? A lot of actors and actresses were like, we're going to protest, we're not going to go. So that's what, she did that. And then, Chris Rock called her out on it.
Yeah.
And he called her out in the sense of like, she's a washed up actress that wasn't invited to the Oscars. So that was the joke, And so I think that maybe that was, she's still burnt about that, she was still butthurt about that. I don't know. But he's a comedian. Yeah. And this is what a lot of people are like, this can open up, like, this is a bad, like, if they don't get some kind of punishment, you're setting a precedent where a comedian could be on stage telling a joke, right? And somebody from the audience are now going to think they're entitled to come up. And even though they were laughing at all the other jokes, but because you made fun of me, I'm going to come and, smack you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you didn't let me share my story last time. You brought it up, and then we just kept talking. We didn't bring it up again.
What was your story?
Yo, so the time that you called me up and you were like, yo, I've got 4 tickets to a comedy show, like,
Oh
you
yeah,
gotta bring
yeah,
people. I was like, all right, I'll find people to bring. And so I brought 2 of my girlfriends. It was you, me, and 2 of the ladies I know. And we go down to the show. We're having a great time. The comedians are all really good. You know, we're laughing. And then one of the ladies we were with, she like didn't like the
Wait,
show.
but you gotta tell the persona, the 2 friends you invited, because it was like night and day. It was night and day. Your one friend, she was so sweet and adorable. I was like, oh my gosh, she was like a bubbly cupcake.
Yep.
She was just a nice, yo. You should keep friends with her. You should reach out to her.
She's actually the one I'm doing the course with.
Okay, good. 'Cause
Yeah.
she was like very bubbly. We were talking about, I think at the time she wanted to go to school for IT.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Was that right? And we were
Yep.
talking about it, and she was just like, I gotta admit, she was very feminine. That's why maybe that I was like engaged with it, because she was like very just bubbly, just very happy. And then there was the masculine one. I'll just say that. There was the masculine one. Night and day. 2 friends of yours that was night and day.
So the not bubbly one, she took offense to like what the comedian had said, and she just started heckling, like, oh my god, like she was going in on this comedian, like he had moved away from the joke and like she was still screaming at him, like, you shouldn't talk about the kids, yada yada, just don't talk about the kids. Like, oh my god, it was so embarrassing. Next thing you know, that comedian finishes his act, the MC comes out and was like, hey, he let that go, but that's not permitted at my club, and they took her out.
The MC started cracking jokes on her. Because that was one thing. That's what. Yeah. If I recall, because you were like the one guy was like trying to finish his set. He finished it. Mm-hmm. He finished it, and then the MC came out and he was like, "Yo, this is our profession.
Yeah,
you came to see us," and he started cracking jokes on her.
I remember him cracking jokes. I remember him telling her, like, dude, like, what are you doing? You're not.
And then that's when she started. No, remember, because she was like, oh, he could say a joke, but he can't take it, or something like that. She was fighting with the MC. She was like, yo, he can make jokes, but he can't take it when people call him out. And so then the MC was like, nah, we're not having this. And then that's when they called the security.
Damn.
And they escorted it out.
You remember more details than I do. I just remember,
because she was going in. And I was like, yo.
God.
But I kept looking at the table because everybody's looking at us. Like everybody
and
there was looking at us.
Then so I was the one who kind of brought the whole group together. So everyone's looking to me like, what's going on? Are we all leaving? And
I looked at the bubbly one. She's looking at me. We started laughing, but we're like, oh, loud. So we started attacking at us. And then it was funny too because like they escorted her out, but explained that whole scenario because that got even worse.
Oh my god! Oh my god! All right, so they came to escort her out, and she's actually like disabled. Like she has like a cane and everything. She has difficulty walking. So
she has to reach under the table.
Yeah, she's like trying to find her cane, and like it was a rough situation. It was rough.
And then I remember
everyone's looking at me like, what are we doing? Like, are we getting up to go? And like, I wasn't gonna get up and go. Like, we still had the rest of the show to watch. Like, why would the 3 of us miss the show because she decided to be an idiot? Like,
and then
why are you being that way at a comedy show?
Yeah, and then everybody started singing na 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 na.
Yes!
I was like,
oh my god!
I was like, na 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 na. I was like, no, they did it. Hey. I was like, oh, jeez, that was rough. Yeah, but then we sat through the whole thing because I was like, we ordered food, we had ordered food, we had ordered drinks, like we were gonna wine and dine tonight and have a good time. And I think that was like the first comedian. There was like 2 other comedians, 2 or 3 other comedians, and it was like free tickets. I was like, man, I was gonna move my ass. I was not moving my ass. So we enjoyed the rest of the show. And I was like, yo, is she out there? What's she doing? Like, she just
right? I mean, it was connected to, like, a shopping area, so she could have gone shopping. She could have done something. She ended up, like, getting an Uber home. I felt so bad. I was like, yo, you should have stuck around. You could have rode home with us. Like, we weren't going to leave you stranded. We just weren't going to miss the show.
Like, that was like an hour drive. So that was an hour Uber. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man. All because you couldn't just take a joke. You couldn't just keep your mouth shut.
Yo, you're at a comedy show. Like, come on.
You don't listen. You don't have to like all comedians. If you're at a comedy show, he made a joke. You didn't like it. You felt offended. Okay, cool. Keep that shit to yourself. Tell the people at the table. Yeah. Let it go by. Time goes by. Moves on. Right. The next comedian could have came out, and you could have enjoyed the next comedian.
Chase is like, oh, I got tickets to Chris Rock. I do. Him and Kevin Hart.
Yo, I saw those tickets are going for like $8,000.
Everybody's saying that. I'm like, oh my god, yeah. And I think
you ain't get to the
pretty decent. I think they're pretty decent seats too. I didn't buy the tickets. It was just like knocked on my door. Hey, we have a delivery for you. So you said
who do you say it was? It's Chris Rock and
Kevin Hart. But I guess they're like the mainliners. I think there might be more comedians. I don't know. I don't have all the details. All I know is I got tickets to that.
But
they're gonna revoke it. They're gonna be like, "No, we don't got tickets. They actually sold it off. Like, made a mini fortune."
Well, they're not your tickets, so yeah, they could be like, "Oh, I sold them," and they still go.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if it was me, if I had 2 tickets, I could sell one for $8,000 and still go.
Right? That's true.
I could have my cake and eat it too. But he said it. He went over the weekend, though. He went on stage, and he was talking about it. He got, like, a standing ovation. And everybody was waiting for him to say something. And he was like, look, I have pre-written material. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to come out here, and I'm just going to make you laugh. He's like, I still have time. I got to process everything that happened.
Right.
So, he's going to go back in a few months, and then he'll write his jokes and make fun of it. But I don't think when's your tickets? When's the show?
It's maybe May or June.
I see. I don't think he would have. No, he's probably not gonna have material for that yet.
Right.
He may adjust it, but yeah, people are going ape shit just to hear. Oh, what's he gonna say? What is he gonna say? So. Fuzz is like, I would sell them. Me too, Fuzz. I would sell them too. I mean, 2 tickets, $8,000 each. That's 16 stacks, man. You know what I can do for 16 stacks? Man.
Kids were going to Disney World.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you get a lightsaber, and you get a lightsaber. The kids be like, Daddy, can I get this robe? Yeah, you can get that too. Yeah, let's go. Chris Rock. Oh, man. Man, you know what, though? Good on Chris Rock. I'm glad that people are still coming out for him. Because, it's... SNL made a joke, too, because they were like, oh, that the Oscars asked Chris afterwards if they should, kick out Will Smith. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what are you doing? You asking the victim? They're like, no. Think about the victim mentality. Like, no, let's not make him angry again. Like, you asked the victim if the attacker should stay? It's just, I don't know. I just think nobody knew what to do. No. It was just like, what do we do? They just smacked the shit out of him. It's like, I don't know. At first, I thought it was staged.
So on the flight, I saw King Richard.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was like, oh, free movie on the flight? Let me see what they got. And they had it. So.
Was it good?
It was a good movie. I had going in, I had no idea what the hell this movie was even about. Like, I hadn't even heard about it. It was just this is what he got his Oscar for. So let me see it.
Yeah, Serena Williams.
Serena and Venus.
Right, and how their father pushed them and drove them to, tennis and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful movie. Like, just, the way he portrayed being a dad. It's a beautiful way to raise your children. And, like, he did it. He did it in the what was that movie, Pursuit of Happiness, where he had the kid and he was struggling with the kid? I really thought he won an Oscar for that movie because I saw that movie. That was a good movie. Yeah. Because it's like the things you do, the struggle and the fights, the things like what are you willing to do for your kid? And the
like
Oscars were still too white back then.
Oh. I don't know. I don't think so. No. I thought about it. No, we have way. No, there's other. I don't know. I don't believe in all that crap. Whatever. Then like you have people like Denzel Washington winning. You have people like Morgan Freeman winning. Come on. Just somebody was better at that time.
Yeah.
And they want to say, oh, it's because of their color of the skin. Yeah. Come on, get the hell out of here. That's what I don't understand. Like, I don't understand, like, they want to make this argument, but then you have something like Obama, right? You have Obama being the president, first black president, and they're like, well, that was a one-off deal. We're still oppressed. I'm like, but how can you say that? Like, you just have somebody broke the mold, right? Yeah. They broke the wall. You can't keep saying that the wall's still there. Like, that to me just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the whole Oscars is white. That should have been in the 50s and 60s. And then when the first, black person got an Oscar, that broke it. You can't keep saying that because it fits your narrative. It's convenient. You got me started.
It's just easier. It's easier to make it's easier to make a statement. It's easier to draw a crowd behind a movement rather than going out there and doing it and being the change.
Yes. And actually what I read, I think I read it on Twitter. They were like, if you want a movement, if you start a movement, start your movement by attacking so that you'll get a lot more people on board because now it's sanctioned attacks. So you can attack people when you call it a movement. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm trying to get at? That's what I read. And so I was like, oh, interesting. Because people just want to attack, but they can't attack, solo. So if you sanction it, now I can be, this vicious person I want to be.
Yeah, it's that crowd mentality.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. And we saw it. We saw it with mobs just burning down places. They just want a mob. They want to, let's go do this. But now you're sanctioning it. That's how you get people behind your cause. Mm. And I was like, there got to be better ways. And there was better ways. You hear stories of like Gandhi, right? Right? You hear stories of Nelson Mandela, right? That they would just go without eating. But at the time, though, they were also, famous figures. So I don't know, if I go starve myself, nobody's going to care. I might look good, nobody's going to care.
That says something about us as a society that we, idealize people for what reasons? On what basis are we idealizing the people who we're putting in the spotlight?
I think there's nothing wrong with that because if you idolize somebody, deep down inside, you're striving to be that person. Mm-hmm. It's so make sure you're idolizing somebody that is worth a damn,
Right.
So
somebody who's like, somebody who you want to be like.
Right.
Something that you want to emulate yourself, something that you're, but I feel like there's no morals behind it. Like, we're just getting behind people because they're out there being famous. Like, what? Do you even know, what these people are, about? Like, what do they do on the weekend? Like...
The Kardashians. Yep. Trish said the Kardashians. And you're 100% right. But that goes back, that's a telling of our times. Mm-hmm. That goes back to the fact that down in the very sub-levels of society, we have no structure.
Right.
We have no structure. We have no boundaries. We have no accountability. Like, if we actually were a society that had structure, Kim Kardashian would not be famous. I mean, let's talk about how she got famous. She made a sex tape with Ray J. Mm-hmm. That's how people started talking about her. Like, that would have been condoned. That would have been like, no.
Right.
And I'm not going to, Lynn's going to be like, oh, so you want to slut shame? No, I'm just saying in both scenarios, people shouldn't be putting out their sexual lives publicly and getting, endorsed and applauded for it.
Right.
It's like, keep that shit behind closed doors. No, like, you should not put that out there. And that's what, that was the jumpstart to her life. And now she has $1 billion off of that. Yeah, okay, you made the money, everywhere else, but that's how your doors were open. So it's kind of tainted.
Yeah.
And me personally, I would want that.
There's like a huge thing with Kim and Kanye raising their daughter. And Kim wants her daughter to be in the limelight. She wants her to have the TikTok and the life that she leads, and like,
right.
And like, she's allowed people into her life, and she makes money the way she does. She is a public figure, and her family's a public figure.
But
And
That's
Kanye's
not
like,
even.
I don't want that for my daughter. She's too young.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
and I
and
agree
like
with that.
their daughter has like 5 million subscribers, and it's like, who the hell's watching their
Who, yeah,
8 year
who
old
needs
every
that? Right,
day? Like,
right, and that's creepy. If you got 5 million people
yeah,
watching an 8-year-old,
yeah, the kind
that's
of
just
pressure that you're
creepy.
putting on your child, it's dangerous. It's not a world that's meant for children.
Right, but but you also got to look at that family. Like, Kim's mom put her in that, so
Hmm.
Kim was a product of that. So if she was a product of that, she doesn't see her child as a child, and she's not going to let her child have a childhood. She sees her child as a product, just like her mom saw her as
Mm.
a product of how do we make money, which is crazy because you don't need no more money.
Right,
And that's another
right.
lesson that people need to understand. If you live well below your means, you're blessed. You're
Hmm.
blessed. You don't need money. Yeah, you need money to open doors to like travel, go places. You know, money does facilitate things we need in life.
Mm.
But if you don't need things, then you don't need it.
Right.
It's like, look, I'm living the best life I can possibly live, and I'm like, it amuses me when I don't spend money. When I go and I'm like, yo, I only spent this much this month. I'm like, cool, because I'm dipping into the money I made. I'm dipping into my savings, you know.
Yes.
So it's like if I'm paying myself, it's like I don't want to use that much. So I don't have to keep paying. I'm a cheap employer. I'm like, I don't pay you this much now. Come on.
You
Are
see,
you really
but
worth that
in
much?
spending less, you're enjoying more.
More, yes.
Yes.
Ironically, that's how it is.
Hmm.
That's how it is. It's like I know right now, I don't want to fly.
Hmm.
For my reasons, I don't want to fly. So I'm enjoying driving places, road
Yeah.
trips. I'm enjoying that phase of my life, right? Gas prices go up. Okay, let me keep it local. Let me find local things to do.
Hmm.
Now I'm gonna start discovering places that I've been here. I've been living here since 2014. I'm finding places that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this place is dope. Let me go here,
Hmm.
So it's like you gotta take in just everything you have, take in your blessings. Because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people keep striving.
Right. They're so
And I'm like,
they're so stuck in the consume. I need more.
yes,
That they're not
yes.
valuing what they already have.
Right. And I see it in Kanye's perspective. It's like, what's the purpose of this child, having 5 million followers? You don't need the money.
Especially when like they don't need the money. Like
You don't need
Kim
the
was
clout.
saying, oh, it's a nice outlet for her to express herself. Like you could buy her a
And she
ranch.
express yourself with family.
You
Like,
could buy
gotta build
her
that
a ranch
foundation.
in Nebraska. Like you could do anything
Like
for
you
your
don't.
child.
You don't need the clout because your parents and your family is the most famous people on the planet right now.
Mhm.
Like there's no other reason than it amuses Kim. That's it. That's the only thing I see. And it's like, really, that's what you want your child to do? So now you're gonna create this I don't know. I feel like you're gonna create this vapid product that has no soul.
I mean, it's hard because, it's like you said, it's what she grew up in. It was the the environment that she's used to, and she does want to share that with her daughter. And in a way, I get it that she wants to, share that with her child, but at the same time, she should wait a little longer. Wait a little longer, connect with your child in
What if her
person.
kid does? What if her kid doesn't even want to do that?
But she's saying
It's like
her
you ain't
child
even
does.
giving
She's
the
saying
kid
her
a
child does
choice.
want to do this.
You really? She's 8. Come on. My
I mean, my
kid says he wants to be an
7-year-old
elephant
loves,
at 8.
making TikTok videos.
My kid wants to be a wolf at 8 years old. Come on. I'm gonna glue some ears on him? Come on. 8-year-olds, they do whatever they want. They're full of imagination. You got to guide them. You have to guide them as a parent. I don't understand this. And this goes back to the whole topic of this whole, kids. So you heard about the bill in Florida, right? That's what I was ranting about. The bill in Florida that they passed saying that
Oh,
teachers
about the
can't.
masks. Yeah. Oh no, maybe
No. This was about it's the media put the spin on it as don't say gay bill. That's not really what it's about. It's talking about not teaching sex education to pre-K to 5th grade, I believe.
Okay.
So it's like, look, you don't talk about if you're married to, if you're a woman married to a woman, or a woman married to a man. It doesn't matter. They don't want you talking about any of that. And like, I agree with that. Like at that age, like, why are we sexualizing our kids?
Right.
Like that's what I understand. Like you have, and it's rampant on the left, and it's like it's gross in a sense because you have like these kids who like you want them to grow up. You're sexualizing them. Like you're talking about these things that the kids don't understand that. Like talk about the things at their level.
Yeah.
And then like you could talk. Look, if they're gonna like, if they see a couple, let's say they see two dads, then you just say it. Oh, okay, Billy has two dads. And leave it at that. But why talk about that? Why question them? Why ask these questions like, "Oh, are you sure you want to be a boy? Are you sure you want to be a girl?" Like these, they're kids, they're babies. They got mush brains. They don't know none of that. Mm-hmm. It's like let them grow. All right, so let's see what the comments are saying. The money you make is a Chris said, the money you make is a representation of your life. Your time in this world is finite. Yeah, exactly. So the time, honestly, the money is just a resource. Right. Just like water, just like air, money is just a resource. What you do with your time is your legacy. Because that is the most, like that's the least commodity you have, right? Your time is running. That clock is ticking. When you're sleeping, it's ticking. When you're just watching TV, it's ticking. You can't get that time back. So what you do with your time, that's what defines who you are. Your small window here on this planet defines who you are, not the money, because you can't take that with you. You can't take the money. You could leave a legacy, right? You could have people talking about you 50 years from now. Nah, it could be, look, people are talking about Ted Bundy. You know, he killed a lot of people. We talk about him, right? Yeah. They make movies of that guy, right? So it all depends on what your legacy wants to be. I personally want to leave, a positive mark. I want people talking about me in a positive way. I want people to be inspired and say, hey, look, he drove this. Let's keep driving it. If I'm like the horse and buggy, I want somebody to take that message and make the car out of it. And then, the Model T. And then I want somebody to take that and make, the electric car or whatever. All right. When you spend 40 hours a week to make money, you see your life gone on those 40 hours, possibly doing something you don't want to, but have to. Yes. And this is why I say it's modern day slavery in the sense that you are now growing that sense of, because think about it, your resource, your most important resource, you're trading time for money. Mm-hmm. So you're trading time, which is the most valuable thing you have, for a commodity that's like air and water. So think about it in that sense. Think about the water that you get out of the faucet, and you're trading your time for that. Time that you don't get back. Time that you start seeing the wrinkles, right? Time that is just slipping away. And you don't know when we're all going to end some point, right? We don't live forever. We're all going to die at some point. So you don't even know when your end's coming. And you're trading it for something that's like water. And they want you to think that, oh, it's so important. Why? Because they instill in you this sense of consume, 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 consume. You don't need money if you don't buy shit. That's it. Don't buy anything. Don't consume anything, and you're going to have an abundance of money. All right, so let's see what else they said with the comments. The government is teaching your children this satanic filth at school. Yes, I look, I know people take it to that level, but it is really like, let's stop with the whole sexualizing of children. Yeah. You see it in movies. I don't know if you heard about that movie on Netflix called Cuties.
I heard about it. Yeah, with like the cheerleaders or something like that.
Yeah, these preteen girls dancing in sexualized ways. Mm-hmm. I mean, you see it in like music videos. You see it just on TikTok. Mm-hmm. It's just clips of like little kids twerking, and it's just like, look, my kids do that. I got old boys. They do it. They're funny. It's hilarious watching them do it. But I'm not gonna post it. I'm not gonna go and have the world looking at it, right? Of course, they're all coming down the hallway doing it as I'm talking. And it's funny, like, they doing it, and they do it in a humorous way. But it's not like, I'm not,
You're not encouraging it. You're not making them feel like, oh.
I'm not trying to capitalize on it. I feel like that's what people are trying to do it, yeah. people are like sexualizing their kids and trying to capitalize off of it. It's just, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. It's gross. Don't do it. Like, don't. Kids gotta be kids.
Honestly, it started a while ago in TV where like kids, like it became funny for kids to be obnoxious. There's nothing funny about that. That's kind of around the time where I stopped watching movies because I never liked stupid funny.
Yeah.
Being stupid is not funny. Like, it's not. It's not.
You're like Norbert?
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's such a waste of time. Like, why are you even watching TV to just be, like, so, like, frustrated with how people behave? But, like, it started then, and it's something that, you know, like, our children are seeing. When our kids are watching TV and they're watching a Disney Channel or wherever it is that they're watching, like, they're being influenced. And to them, like, what they're seeing portrayed on TV is real. You know, like, they can't tell what's real and what's not yet when they're young.
Right. It's not make-believe yet. At a certain point, they're like, oh, this is reality.
You know? And, like, no, those aren't the kind of influences that you want your child to have.
And I'm jumping on what you said. You're so right in the sense that they were doing, like, with America's Funniest Videos. Or Kids Say the Darndest Things. You remember that show?
Yes.
Where it was like they had kids, and it was almost in a sense where if a kid said something an adult would, that's what people would start laughing at.
Right.
And then they started translating that with, oh, kids can act like adults. Let's go ahead and introduce this whole sector that should only be for adults.
Right.
I think, and that to me, it's like, no, let your kid be a kid. They may say silly things, they may do silly things, laugh at it, but let's not strive for them to be adults. Let's not strive for them to grow up too fast. You know, let them be kids. Let them be kids. So Trish said, it's a reflection of time you lost, so be careful where you spend that money, as it literally is your life. Yes, that's literally your time. So if you're trading time for money and you just frivolously just going to spend your money on stupid shit, then you're saying your time is worth shit. Yeah, you're not making. And people will reflect on that. People don't make that connection. People are just like, oh, I got my... And this is the greatest thing, because somebody asked this on Twitter. They were like, what's the difference between a job and a career? And of course, here comes all the brainwashed comments, right? Oh, in my career, I have upward mobility. Oh, and listen. And then I replied, and I got a heart from the person who posted. And I think that was the only like from the comment. Was I posted, I was like, unless you're working for yourself, a career is just a bow on a pile of shit. That's what I posted. But I had the poopy emoji. And they gave me a heart. Because unless you're working for yourself, unless you're doing your passion, and really, it shouldn't even be work. It should just be, I'm living my passion, I'm living my dream, I'm living my life, and I'm making money for it. And that's how it should be. That's how life should be. If you think that whatever you're doing, I'm upward career, it's my career. No, because the second you die, if you get hit by a bus, they're replacing you in 2 weeks. Yep.
You're trying to create your life work in somebody else's idea.
Dream.
And all you're doing is you're, breathing life into their dream.
Yep. Bye, boys. Be good. Yeah, it's exactly what you said. You're building somebody else's dream off of your time, your sweat, your tears, your frustration, all those emotions you feel.
And like we talk about how our children shouldn't be raised to believe that like, oh my God, they have to go to college and they have to get a job. And we also say like, we're not trying to knock that path either, because some people don't have like that leader in them to just like start off like fresh out of high school, ready to hit the ground running. Like for me, like I needed extra guidance, so I did go to college, and I have an education, I have a background, and I did go into the workforce, and I have so much experience from it. But now I'm at a point in my life where, okay, I have this education, I've learned all these things, I've experienced all these things, now I'm ready to make it work for me. Now I'm ready to, take that same like knowledge that I've accumulated over the years and through my experiences, and work for myself and create something for me, for my family.
But with that said, you would have been able to achieve that sooner if you didn't have the debt you were carrying.
With that said, I would have been able to achieve it sooner if I didn't have so many children.
That too. That too.
It's life, whatever. It's like the path that has gotten me to this point, you know?
I think, and that's the reason why, like, I'm very hesitant to tell people to go to college, because now they're taking on this massive debt.
Yeah.
Right? For a job that barely is gonna
cover that.
Debt. Yeah, right. So figure out the average cost of college is what, like $100,000, just so you can get a $40,000-$50,000 job, right? Like, that's not gonna. You're gonna be paying that for a minute, and it's like, why do you want to jumpstart your life in debt?
Yeah.
When you could put that $100,000 to work, right? You could start a job. Let's say you don't go to college, you could start a job. Now you're at zero, right? And if you minimize your expenses, you can start putting money towards what? You know, a 401k or something that drives you to invest your money and have your money work for you. You know, that's what I stress. And like, I talked to my boys. We were talking the other day. I was like, hey, what do you guys want to do for your, what do you guys want to do? And they're like, oh, if I can't make it in soccer, they both said it. They were like, if I can't make it in soccer, one said, I want to work on cars. And I was like, that's great. That's great if you want to work on cars, because you can now go to a vocational school. You can learn, how to repair cars. You can be a mechanic, right, in a shop. And in a couple of years, save up some money and open up your own shop. Yep. And that's the concept. So,
it's something that they can, they can see it and they can, give life to that vision.
Right. And those were the concepts that came out of the book called The Millionaire Next Door. If you read that book, it talks about, really the message is, live well below your means and go through a route of, employment that can help you achieve what you want out of life.
Right.
So if you're living well below your means, he didn't go to college, he didn't get that debt. He's living here at home while he's working on cars, right? So, room and board is, covered for him. He's saving up that money. Then the next thing you know, he goes and he takes that risk. He goes and says, hey, I'm going to get a loan from the bank. I'm going to open up my own shop. I already know what I want to do, right? Now he's 1 foot ahead of his peers. So the time that somebody finishes college in those 4 years, he can get his first business in 4 years. But society looks down on mechanics, plumbers, electricians, right? We look down on them. We don't ever push
the trades.
anyone down
that.
The trades, right? Right. We don't ever push anybody down that path, down that road. However, that's the most that's the fast track to financial freedom. Because I didn't have the college debt. No, I had the matrimony debt, but I took care of that too. But I didn't, because I heard you can't claim college debt in. It
sounded like you offed her. Like what?
Like I heard you can't claim college debt in bankruptcy.
No, you can't.
You can't, right? So you can't get. There's no way of getting away from that debt.
Nope.
But now consumer debt, you can go ahead and say, let me restart that. And you can do that multiple times in your lifetime. Because was it, you can claim bankruptcy, every 7 or 10 years?
Every 10 years.
Every 10 years. Every decade, you could get yourself in trouble and say, let me restart that shit. That's crazy. That's crazy. Do you know how much money you could, if you played your cards right, and let's say you get your credit score up, you go and you get this money, right? And then you just say, this money's gone, right? Blah, 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 blah. And then you just reset it and then do it again 10 years and do it again. Do you know how much money you get, invest, and make it? Bro. Yeah, I'm telling you, the system, they built a system to really work you, to really program you. Like, you really do think, like, you got to go to college. You got to have a credit score. That credit score, that score alone, you don't know how many people keep themselves in check because of their credit score.
Because of that score, yeah. It comes up in conversations. It comes up in conversations how people are just like, oh my God, my credit score, I'm working on it, I got to get a little higher. And
yeah, I was so scared of my credit score dropping because, mom taught us.
I was terrified to file bankruptcy. I was like, oh man, I'm not supposed to do that. Right. That's going to be horrible for my credit.
Right, because mom taught us at a young age. She was like, whatever you do, you pay your bills, right? Because mom was always like that. She was very, respectful in that sense to like, hey, you got to pay your bills. And so I was programmed, you gotta pay your bills, you gotta pay your bills, you gotta pay your bills. And the most like prestigious thing of paying your bills is having a high credit score. Mm-hmm. It shows you're reliable, right? It shows you're trustworthy, right? And so when I got to the point where I had to go to like debt negotiation, all this, I sat in the car for hours. I was like, how did I get myself into this? Mm-hmm. How? Why? And then when I finally pulled the trigger, and like fast forward, it wasn't, I mean, it might have been maybe less than a month later, realizing like, wow, why didn't I pull the trigger sooner? Like I finally got a hold, like, yo, I got so much more money in my pocket. This is all I gotta do? Like that to me was just I had no choice but to do it. And I felt so disappointed in myself. And then to fast forward, and I was like, wow, why was I like
it turns out it's actually a relief. It's like, wow.
Right.
This is kind of nice.
And it's like, okay.
It is.
Okay.
It's a fresh start.
It is. And then you see how
I didn't think too long and hard about it because I had already bought a house. And I feel like that's really like I was building my credit score so that I could buy a house. Right. And since I just closed on my house, I don't plan on buying another house yet. So I was like, oh, my credit score can take a hit. I'll be okay.
Right. And the time I did it, that was the number one reason why I went to negotiation, because I was gonna lose my house. Like I was tapped. I was living paycheck to paycheck at this point. And mind you, I was in cybersecurity, so it's one of the highest paying fields. Mm-hmm. So I'm making banking.
Yep,
you're making bank. Like you said, and you always used to say Ray has the disposable income.
Ouch.
And I was living paycheck to paycheck. And I was like, yo, how the hell? Like it was just stress, taking on stress that I didn't need to take on. And that's how they get
I was making $1,000 payments to my credit card companies. More than once a month. I'd be like, all right, let me just send this. Like, oh God, all my money was going to credit cards.
My credit card payments was more than my mortgage.
Yep.
I was like, yo, this is a mortgage.
I am.
This is a mortgage. And so
they get you. Like the one time I applied through my bank for a credit card, instantly approved, $15,000.
Yeah.
Excuse me? I've got how much
let's talk about, because nobody talks about the other side. So let's say once your credit score drops, let's say once you file for bankruptcy, or debt negotiation, whatever you want to call it, you file for this, right? Mm-hmm. Your credit score tanks, right? And you're like, oh my God, I'm the scum of the planet, right? Yo, how long did it take you, Lynn, before you started getting the offers?
I don't know when it started, but that's all I get in the mail. I get in the mail. Oh my God. Yep.
So they
I got like 3 a day.
Yeah, they make you think this prestige score, that if you drop this score, you're never, nobody's gonna want to mess with you. You're toxic, right? That's bullshit. Within like 6 months, I would say it was probably even 3 months of my score tanking. It started slowly going back up, and I was getting tons of offers. And like you said, that's the only mail I get right now.
I mean, for me,
Chase,
it's been 3 years.
Whoever it may be.
It's been 4 years. And yeah, like, I get flooded with them. And I can't even tell you when it started because it feels like it's been happening since it happened.
It's like, and I have a buddy, my buddy at work went through the same thing. He went through a divorce, and between the legal fees and just everything he had to do and all the debt.
Life gets hard. It gets out of control.
Because he ended up having to take all the debt from the marriage. Mm-hmm. He ended up having to pay his legal fees. It wasn't her legal fee. It was just his legal fees, but it was still like $50,000.
Okay.
Getting a divorce. Yeah. In New Jersey. Yeah. It was like $50,000. So he had all the debt, legal fees, $50,000. Then he had child support and alimony.
Oh my God.
So he was strapped. So he had no choice but to go through the bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. And so really he went through bankruptcy. He was like, the only thing, can I please keep my car? I needed to go to work. And they were like, well, as long as you make the payments on it, you can keep it. Mm-hmm. So he did that. And sure enough, he told me, he was like, within like 3 months, 6 months, he was getting the offers again.
Yep.
And he was like, but I don't even have the money. I don't get this. How am I still getting the offers? I'm like, because that's how they want to trap you in. Mm-hmm. That they want to trap you in, and they want you to live about that life. They want you to consume. If you don't consume, there's no need for you to get that credit card.
Right.
Right? Because if you have that credit card, you're never going to use it. And if you never use it, you don't play into their you're not a product of their environment. You're not playing into their narrative, right? You're not part of their propaganda, their whole like, oh, consume. So then what happens? You're just, your money's piling up.
Yeah.
And then if you're smart with your money, you make your money work for you. Now you're getting a passive income from your money. Now you get the freedom to do what you want with your life. So yeah, and then my other kid, he said he wants to be an architect. So I was like, oh, that's dope.
Oh, I like that.
I didn't know you wanted to do that. That's cool.
I like that.
So like they're already, you know, they're trying to think outside the box. They're trying to think, because I told them from a very young age, I was like, college is bullshit. It's bullshit. I was like, you're gonna waste your time, you're gonna waste your money, and you're gonna be stuck. It's not gonna help you like people say it's gonna jumpstart your career. It's not.
Right.
But I lived that. Like I joined the military, right? While I was in the military, I learned about cybersecurity. So then I pivot, and then I got out, and I didn't get my degree was funded half by Uncle Sam and half by Lockheed Martin. They paid for my degree. And then, you know, I got the certifications, because even in cybersecurity, you can make it with just the certifications. I told you that. I was showing you how to get in that. Yeah. You just get the cert and people will hire you. Same thing with other things like networking. Like if you do, you know, IT networking, you know, the guy who does the wires and all the routing and all that stuff, they get certs for that too.
Just is going in. So debt is a currency.
Right. Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yes. And it is the number one currency in the world. And that's at a high level. Like China trades debt with the US, you know, that's at the high level. That is literally how we are a house of cards as a global level. We are a house of cards of debt. That bubble is gonna pop some point. It's gonna pop some point. That's why I'm like really big on crypto, because everybody's like, oh, crypto's a bubble. I'm like, no, everything else is a bubble.
Yeah.
The housing market is a bubble. The auto industry is a bubble. Like Lynn, how often are they calling you for a new lease on your car?
Oh, all the time.
Aren't they always trying to get you out of your lease, your current lease? We'll buy your lease and get you in another lease. Yo, I'm telling you, the home industry is a bubble. Auto industry is a bubble. Credit, consumer debt is a bubble. Like it's just all that shit's gonna pop at some point. So it's like, where are you gonna position yourself? Where are you gonna put yourself? You know, another thing too, like we're going through inflation right now, right? So the dollar is dropping its value. So if you got money in the bank, why not put that money to work for you? That's how the rich people do it. You know, that's how they think. They think like that. They're like, how can I make this paper work for me? Because that's all it is. It's just paper.
Yeah.
You know? All right, so let me read some of these comments here. Oh, man, I got to scroll down or scroll up. It's a reflection of time you lost, so be careful where you spend that money, as it's literally your life. I agree. People that have too much or get it for free have lost a connection with that. I don't think so. I think they actually value it more. I think they know how to work the system and how to keep getting things for free. I think that's why a lot of people like to be an influencer and be, you know, a socialite or somebody famous, because when you're that famous, you really don't have to pay for anything. So now, you know, that's even more of a sense for you to understand that money is not, it's just paper. It's just a commodity we just need to get resources. That's all it is. Like we tend to put a lot of value on the dollar or money or currency or papers or buying things. Like we think, oh, okay, we got to get more and more and more of that, so I can buy more and more and more of that. When you look at like the rich people, famous people, they're not striving for that. That's not the things that they're thinking about. They're thinking about, how can I make my next move, right? How can I work with this guy so I can, you know, do this, A, B. They're living their lives. They're living the best lives ever, right? They're taking in the moment. They're taking in their time. And they're utilizing their time to the utmost, you know, profitability. It's crazy, because that's what they're saying. My time is more valuable. So how can I get the most dollars out of it? All right. Biden changed the borrowing rule that made college debt last forever. Did he? I didn't know that. So you can actually claim bankruptcy on college debt? Somebody look that up, because I thought it was That might have been recent, and I would probably say that did happen because I know he was getting a lot of pressure for people wanting their college debt wiped. And I'm like, no, don't wipe that debt. Let them carry that debt because that was their dumbass mistake for getting that debt. And if they learn from that mistake, hopefully they can teach their children not to make that mistake. So what you want to do is they put themselves in a dilemma, right? They jacked up their lives because they were told a narrative, and now you want to erase that and not have them learn a lesson. No. And who's going to pay for that? The taxpayers. No, thank you. That's my rant. I'm pissed off with that one. The U.S. government literally needs debt to survive. Correct. That's how we're living. You see all this money, they're raising taxes. They're saying, we got so much debt. Yeah, they go and they pass these bills funding this and funding that. So how's that even possible? Because they keep printing out the dollar. They keep printing out whatever it takes for them to keep raising up and spending and all this stuff. So the dollar is going to collapse because there's nothing backing it. The only reason why the dollar has value is because we say it has value.
That's true.
We used to have it attached to gold. We moved away from that standard. And now the dollar has value because we say it has value. So you know what? I say crypto has value. Oh, now what? If there is no debt, the U.S. dollar would be one of the least valuable currency in the world. Yes, I agree. And look, I know there's a narrative, and I know I shouldn't say anything positive about Russia, but I actually like that they're backing their oil to their currency, the ruble, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, we're pegging the ruble to gold. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, you want to buy our oil? You got to buy it with our ruble that's backed by gold, or you can buy it with crypto. And I was like, okay, touche. I was like, yo, that is going to be the most significant impact on our economy moving forward that people don't even understand. That right there is going to be talked about for like years, decades. Like it's gonna, because it just changed the whole landscape. It's the largest Ponzi scheme in existence. Yes, the dollar is.
yes,
it is. It is.
Yes,
the dollar has been inflated, and it's just being propped up by. It's a house of cards, as you see it. The most dollars were printed within the last few years due to Kofifi than it has in like the last 20, 30, 40 years or something like that. Something crazy.
You gotta remember, especially if and when the dollar collapses or society, everything collapses, you have to remember that you're trading time for money because time is the value.
Yes.
So even if the dollar was to, collapse tomorrow, the fact is you still have value because you still have your time.
Yes. So, and a lot of people are like, how would you survive the apocalypse? So going off of what Lynn said, how would you survive the apocalypse? When you start thinking about things like that, all right, money doesn't serve anything. Mm-hmm. You gotta ask yourself, how would I be an asset?
Yeah.
Right?
What can you trade?
How would
I
be an
barter?
asset? Yeah. How would I barter? Right. Mm-hmm. How would I be an asset to whatever tribe? I'll call it a tribe, but whatever group of people that we're all trying to survive, right? Mm-hmm. How will I be an asset? And that's how you got to think to yourself. You got to think to yourself, what would I bring to the table? What can I trade with? Mm-hmm. I told my kids from a very young age, work with your hands. Be a carpenter, be a mechanic, be, electrician. We're going to need all that. Let's say, nukes, everybody's talking about nukes going off, right? And let's say that the grid just shuts down, boom, power all down, everybody's losing their shit. What are you going to do? How are you going to survive? How are you going to be an asset? Mm-hmm. And the same way, because that's what it's going to go down to. It's going to go down to bartering, right? So you want to bring a trade. You want to bring a skill and an asset. And that's why I tell people nowadays, money is bullshit. Money, we exist because we say it exists. It's like everybody's saying, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a scheme, so use the scheme in your best benefit. Don't be a guinea pig in their story. Because that's what they want most of the majority. And that's what most people are chasing. They're chasing after think about what people are doing. People are chasing after a paper so they can go make paper. They're chasing after a degree so they can make dollars. A useless paper to go make paper. It's like, oh, come on, peoples. We can do better. We can do better. We can be better.
But again, it's that part of that validation. Like, people need to be told, like, oh, they're capable of doing this. Like, instead of, you know, some people need that college degree to be like, oh, yeah, I am, like, you know, educated in this area.
Accolades.
Rather than, like, learning, you know, on the job. You know, taking the internship and, you know, proving yourself and then growing that way.
Right, and that's because people turn their nose down on the trades. But think about at the end of the day, right? You could be a plumber. You could be dealing with people's shit. People don't like it, blah, blah, blah. You could be making a shit ton of money. I know my plumber, when he comes, he banks. Because I'm like, yo, my basement is flooding. He comes in, oh, $600. I'm like, oh, fuck, $600. You know? It's like, I got no choice. I don't want my basement flooded. So they bank. So he could be out somewhere, right? Because people can take a shower. People could dress up, right? He could be out somewhere with a suit, tie, looking like $1 million. He got his money in the bank. He could be a millionaire for all you know. He could be running his own business, right?
Yeah.
And people are going to be like, now the eyes are on him, right? Oh, people are liking him. Oh, yeah. Because he has that, right? He has that suit on. But the reality is he's a plumber, right? And people turn their nose down on plumbers. They're like, oh, no. But anybody can put on a suit. Anybody could be stunning. Anybody could be at the club. Anybody could be out there.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, it's who you are, right? You got to come home. He's running his own business. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
Like, you could have the same guy steady popping bottles at the club, and he's coming home, you know, he's living with roommates, and he's barely making, he spent his last check popping that bottle, right? He's eating ramen noodles for the rest of the week, but he looked good in the club, right? So people's priorities are all messed up sometimes.
That's exactly what it is. Priorities.
Yeah.
In our society, man, we're a society of enablers. We're just like, oh, it's all right. That's a good idea.
And it's getting worse. My God, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. Yeah, it's going to get to a point where calling somebody out, right, giving them constructive criticism is going to be called bullying somebody. That's crazy. Can you imagine? Like, let's say some guy, he's like a doctor. He goes up to a big girl, right? And he's like, hey, you know, I really, you know, I'm not trying to offend you or anything, but I think, you know, like he could see, he's like, hey, you look like you have, you should go see a doctor because you might have, you know, something with your thyroid or something like that. And you might want to think about changing the way you eat and maybe losing some weight, right? He can say that shit, but don't body shame me. Don't body shame me. Big girls, give it up for the big girls. Like, I don't understand the society, man. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like, we got to be realistic. We got to say, look, it's good that you love yourself. It's good that you're, you know, body positive or whatever, but also embrace being healthy. You know?
Yeah, it's another thing our society lacks is, like, the desire to be healthy. Like, make good choices. What are we doing?
That's because we
like what's easy. And it's easy to go through a drive-thru.
Yes. No, we are living in the age of
Easy Street.
Easy Street, but like just instant gratification. Like, why should I cook? Why should I put the effort, the time, and all this to cook when I could just, like you said, go to a drive-thru?
Right.
Who's gonna say anything wrong?
Because my kids aren't gonna eat the cooked food anyway.
What? Where did that come from?
Oh, my kids are the worst sometimes. Like, and then sometimes, like yesterday I made a simple pasta with, I had no pasta sauce. So, like, and of course, I had already cooked. You know, I was already elbow deep. I couldn't stop cooking to go and buy pasta sauce. So I look at my cupboard, and I found, like, 2 Goya cans of tomato paste. Okay. So, like, I made do with that. And, like, my youngest ate, like, 3 times. Like, 3 full bowls. And I'm like, who is this kid? Like, you don't even eat like this. He's like, wow, mommy, this is amazing. He's like, Mommy, I'm gonna have this for breakfast and for dinner tomorrow.
So what it sounds like to me is that you don't add flavor into your food.
I do, and it becomes too intense for them.
Flavor.
So like yesterday when I had something very basic, they were like, wow, this is amazing. It's like something I just like pulled together, like the leftover ingredients I had, you know?
That's hilarious.
Like I know tonight. So yes, last night I picked up our groceries. I like do like the online orders. So after dinner, I went and I picked up groceries. So tonight's dinner is gonna be a little more put together. You know, I've got like broccoli I'm gonna be making later. So I guarantee you tonight's dinner they're gonna be like, I don't really like this. Can I have cereal?
I went a little creative. I went a little creative last night because I was kind of lazy. I wasn't not that I was lazy. It was kind of like last minute. I was like, oh shit, I gotta feed these kids. Mm-hmm. so I was like looking around, and so I took some tuna, right? And I was like, I got an idea. I was like, let me try this. So I took tuna. I put soy sauce and hot sauce in the tuna and I mixed it together. Then my youngest made rice in the rice cooker, right? Mm-hmm. So I took the rice and seasoned the rice, and then I had tortilla shells. So I made tortilla, but I didn't like burn them all the way, so they were still soft. Mm-hmm. And so I put the rice, I put the tuna on top, and I made them little sushi rolls.
Nice.
They were like, "This is good." I was like, "Sweet, dinner's done."
Yeah.
Oil and garlic. When you gotta learn about oil and garlic.
I use oil and I use garlic. Like, I'm telling you, I'll have all the fresh ingredients tonight. I'm gonna do some chopping. It's gonna be great, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not hungry."
I actually been refraining from using like vegetable oils, cooking oils, those kind of oils, because I heard that they're not that good for you. So I've been kind of like not using that stuff.
Okay.
So you got me a nice grill for Christmas, mm-hmm. and I've been using that. I've been grilling all my meats on there.
Nice.
But yeah, so I try to refrain from. Actually, I cook everything on there. I love that thing. I love that thing. I was like, oh, this is great. All right, so Trist said the way the dollar works is based on confidence from other countries that the U.S. will make good and its debt. Correct. And this is the reason why Russia changed that whole narrative. Because they're like, look, it's not just about the dollar anymore. And they're backing it with oil, so a consumable that we need, and gold. Like, that's just like, bro, we were on the gold. Our dollar was backed by gold. And that was taken out, back in the 70s, I believe, 60s or 70s, around that time frame. Mm-hmm. So we moved away from the dollar being backed by something. So it's like, what happens when the rest of the world doesn't trust the dollar anymore? Because that's 100% correct. We're going to find out soon. Mm-hmm. We're going to find out soon. Like, what happens when you have and it's great because you're starting to see, like, a lot of these third world countries starting to move on and adopting crypto. Mm-hmm. Right? They're starting to say our national currency is Bitcoin. Like, it's hard for, like, think about the infrastructure needed for that. Like, that's not really in place there. Like, we're developing it. It's building up to that. Mm-hmm. But it's not like how convenient it is to just walk into your bank, right? Do transactions through your bank, walking into an ATM. Like, I know there's Bitcoin ATMs, but those are far, you don't really see them as often as you see regular cash ATMs.
Right.
So for the fact
I saw one in Atlantis. I was like, oh shit, look at that.
Right. Right. So for them to say, hey, we're adopting that, and then just moving forward, that's amazing.
I mean, that's forward thinking. That's, hey, like, what are we doing for longevity?
Right. And that's just a country saying, look, we're tired of the whole current structure. It's not working. We're hurting. Mm-hmm. My people are hurting. So let's go ahead and start moving towards a future that it will be more favorable for my people.
Yeah.
So now you're going to start seeing a lot of people. I even heard Mexico's thinking about it. Or Mexico, they'll still have their pesos, but they're going to say something like, we acknowledge Bitcoin as a currency, mm-hmm. and we accept it. I'm starting to hear local states are starting to say you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. Mm. So I start seeing a world where crypto is going to have more of a foundation. Mm-hmm. Because there's more. Once again, it's not because crypto has a value. It has value because we say it has value.
Yes.
The people says it has value. But it goes back to that whole trust, which is what Tris was saying is that we need the trust in our currency. So right now, the U.S. dollar is losing its trust. So what's going to replace it? Is it going to be the ruble? Is it going to be China's yen? What is it going to be next? Or is it going to be something that is not centralized, is not controlled, and everybody agrees on that it has value? It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Crypto is another bubble, though. Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends. I think everything's a bubble, It is being manipulated right now because it's controlled by a certain few. It's still in its infancy. So do I believe Bitcoin is going to be the one? I don't know. Bitcoin has a name, but it's slow as a dinosaur. So I don't know. I don't know which one would be the one, but I think that if we have that conversation and we drive it forward, I think the more we need something that's decentralized. We need something that cannot be controlled by one nation, just one nation only. Mm-hmm. Like we need something that's at the global level, that's decentralized, that anybody can participate. Now, yes, is it manipulated? Is it being controlled? Yes, it is. It's being controlled by the rich. I gotta admit that. Biden changed the borrowing rules that made college debt last forever 30, 40 years ago. Before the rules changed, you could have went through bankruptcy.
Oh, to eliminate your college debt.
Yeah. So now you can go through bankruptcy and eliminate it.
No, now you can't. As of 30 to 40 years ago, you cannot.
Right. But I think Biden just changed that.
A current change?
I believe so. That's what Fuzz is trying to let us know. So when you went through, you couldn't do that, right?
No, I could not.
Right. So you still got to pay that debt. Mm-hmm. So no matter what, you're obligated to pay that debt. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think Biden. So now, if you were to go again, you would be able to absorb that debt now. It's like, I mean, you're in what, year 5? You got another 5 years? Go do it again. I'm kidding. I'm not a financial advice. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you gotta say that, man. These people out here, man. Crypto. All right. Granted, it's a decentralized bubble, but it's still a bubble. But we need to operate. That's how we gotta operate in something. Like you're not gonna be able to rid of all the evil. It's like that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, look, governments are gonna be there, right? Money, some form of money is gonna be there. If you're an anarchist and you believe that all they can go down and society's gonna operate, it's not. So like the evil's still gonna be there. It's just it's a better evil than the current evil. That's the way I see it. But once again, you see how I feel about money. Money is just a resource for me to get what I need.
Yeah.
It's not important to me. The memories and the time and what I do with my life, that's more important. Having a purpose, having a call.
That's your mindset, your thoughts create your feelings.
Right. So I'll play, look, I don't mind playing in this over here and then I'll go play over there. Whatever gets me to be able to live the life I want to live, I'll embrace it forever. I live in the gray area, so I'll embrace it until I can't get any more out of it.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
But that should be with everything in life, if something is no longer, serving you, if it's no longer improving you or helping you grow, then let it go.
Yes, exactly. And that's with everything in life. Mm-hmm. People around you, your hobbies, just whatever that's going on in your life, always be reflecting. If you're in an investment and it's just not making the kind of gains and money you want, get your money out of there. As long as you still got money in there, you could go put it somewhere else that may make a better profit, right? Like a lot of people are very invested with, the bags they have, and they're just stuck on these, they just see their money just dwindling away. And it's like, no, know what you're buying and know how long you want to buy it for.
Yeah.
Move your money, go back and forth. Put your money in crypto, then move it out to stocks. Have your money working for you. But I know there's a lot of people, they'll put their money in something and they won't do the research. Like I have friends who are asking me like, oh, what should I buy? What should I buy? I'm like, yo, do some research. This is your money. Like, I remember when I first bought, like, Google stocks, I was looking at just, like, the whole rap sheet for Google. How do they make the money? What are the profits? All this. Like, I was deep diving before I bought any stocks. You know, and then I started researching more. And then I was like, one of my biggest gains was when I bought Nintendo right when the Wii came out. Mm-hmm. And so everybody was like, you know, I started reading and it was like, oh, buy Nintendo because the Wii comes out and it's a success. You know, they're going to make so much money. And I was like, I thought to myself, I was like, well, I like Nintendo. The Wii looks dope. Okay. So I bought it. Sure enough, shot up.
Nice.
Oh, thank you, Tris.
I read that. Yeah.
Thank you. Now, I don't know if that's genuine or you're just being sarcastic because we only spent 30 minutes on the topic.
He is. He says he enjoys how our conversations goes wherever.
I'm gonna take it as being genuine.
And
this is a genuine conversation
when we get on here and we start talking. We talk about whatever because that's what happens. Like your mind goes wherever, and these are conversations that we need to have.
Right, and the way we're looking at it, and actually this is great because we're kind of winding down here, so we'll just have kind of open, behind the curtain. It's like, look, we want to try to provide the best show we can. We're gonna be on here, 2 days out of the week, 3 hours each, so that's 6 hours total. So we have 6 hours. We got to talk about stuff. So it's like, we want to dive on the topic, but we want the show to be all about that one topic. Right. We want more people to come in, and look, we get it. World happens.
Not sarcastic at all. No sarcasm.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm ready. I'm like, okay, cool. See, but because that's how I am. I'm just sarcastic. So, but we generally want to help people. Like we keep saying, as more people come along, we want to be able to have, a phone number, have people come in, talk about stuff. And it's really, I grew up back in the day with like O&A, and they would talk about, the Opie and Anthony show. They would go on for like 4 hours a day, every day, and they would just talk about everything in life. And through dark times, good times, they would just be talking about it. It was like an outlet of whatever you were going through. So yes, I want to help people, but in the same sense, I also want to hear what people are going through. Like, we go through stuff, people go through stuff. It's all about being human. So please, yes, keep feeding us with the comments. Keep telling us what you guys want to talk about. Let us know the topics. And we're just going to feed off of that. You guys give us good energy. Yep. I hope you feel the same way, Lynn. Go ahead. You could riff.
I do. No, I feel the same way. I like that, we don't kind of put ourselves in a box and say, oh, this is what we have to talk about for 3 hours. It's like, no, like.
Exactly.
We just go with the flow, see what comes up, see what, our audience wants to talk about, and just let it go wherever.
Right.
Plus, and this is honestly, this is like the natural, ebbing and weaving of a conversation.
Correct. And we also got to understand that we don't live in a bubble. We get it. We live in this world. There's going to be topics people are talking about. Mm-hmm. And if we're a live show, we got to kind of address some of those topics. Huh?
I live in a bubble. I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you got cooties? Because you got cooties?
No, but, I never know what's going on in the world. Like, if something happens, I'm just, oblivious. Like,
true,
whatever.
Lynn's face, every time I'm like, all right, let's go to some current affairs. And she's like, seriously, right? Seriously?
That's where we're going.
And then I'm like, oh, did you hear about this? Crickets. Crickets. And it's funny too because it's not like I'm looking out for any of this stuff. It's like it just pops up on my phone. It's just like stuff that I see on my phone, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, oh, let's just talk about it. It's just popping up, right? Now the whole Will Smith thing, I was having fun with that. I was sending the memes to Lynn. She was like, enough, Ray. I can't even imagine how many I sent you. Oh my God, they were so hilarious.
They were good ones though. Everyone you sent me was good.
Mm-hmm.
It gets annoying when people are just sending you all of them and you don't you can't relate to their humor. It's like, why are you still sending this? But no, I was enjoying them.
No, it was funny that the kids were sending them to me too. Like they sent me one where Will Smith was doing Fruit Ninja.
You shared that one with me.
Yeah. Or when he was throwing the Pokeball, like the slap, they made it look like the Pokeball.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh man, I was like, yo. I was loving. I'm loving the memes. But it's funny too because it's through memes and through humor it shows how a lot of people are taking things way too serious and they shouldn't. So it's like you can make an argument, and I've seen this, like people make an argument for a statement, and they're like, how can you think like that, blah, blah, blah. But then when they put it into a meme, it just shows how outrageous that argument is. Like with the whole thing about, sexualizing children. People have been, doing memes with that. And through the memes, that's where you can actually see how ridiculous things are.
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of grateful for the memes. I'm like, yo, please keep the memes rolling because there's a lot of stupid things that this world's doing, and we got to kind of call it out. And it's through humor. It's through humor that you kind of see how stupid things are. And then maybe, hopefully, we can convert some of these people from, because it is a cult. There's a cult going on right now. And we got to kind of like call that out. And hopefully through the humor, we can kind of convert some of those people to see how stupid they are or how stupid they're acting. They're not stupid themselves. They're acting stupid. Let me just rephrase that.
That was very PC of you.
Yeah. God, you gotta jump through these hoops, Lynn. YouTube secret. Don't tell them, let them know.
That's what I'm always thinking. Like when I'm scolding one of my kids, I'm like, I have to make sure that they know it's not them, it's the action I'm upset about.
Right.
It's your behavior.
Yeah. All right. So for clarification, going back to Fuzz, thank you, Fuzz. The rules have not changed. College debt is forever. So sorry, Lynn. Don't bother. Lynn was like, oh man, I could wrap up a couple of credit cards.
No. I actually so I'm on like a repayment plan, like based on my income, and I guess like after a certain amount of years of being on the same plan, you have options.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, there's always options. You just have to keep reading and call your your loan advisors and see what programs are available.
So let me ask you this. After going through everything you've been through, do you still suggest college?
Do I suggest college? I suggest what do I suggest? You know what? I can't say that I do. I'm glad I went and I had the experiences, but if I had to do it again, I don't think I would go to college. I wasn't in the proper mindset to take from college the amount of money that I put into it. Like, it wasn't worth it.
Gotcha.
Now, I think college is better for furthering your career. Like, if you're older and, you feel like you found a path that you want to pursue and you want to pay to go to school so you can become better at whatever it is you're doing. Like, your son's thinking about architecture. Like, okay, maybe not right out of high school, but down the road when he values his time, when he values the money he's putting into college.
Right. I do agree with that sense is that if you're if you found a field and it's going to open doors for you, and that's the only way I could say, yeah, okay, I get it. Oh, you're not going to get promoted. Because that was me. I wasn't going to get promoted until I had a degree. So I went and I got my I call it the Cracker Jack degree. I got it out of a cereal box. That's the way I look at it. I didn't go to no prestige school. Hell no. I don't want to waste money for a prestige school.
Yeah.
That's the way I always looked at life. Like, I don't go buying name brand stuff. Like, I always thought it was kind of weird wearing, some other guy's name on you.
Yeah.
And that's what people do. Like, oh, I got Jordan. Like, why? Okay, but that's another dude's name. You're tagged by another dude. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. I never really chased after that. So, like, I get it. To open a certain door in your life, you need it. Okay, fine, do it. But to just default and tell your kids, like, you gotta go to college, which a lot of people do. I don't understand.
A lot of people are still doing. It's what our society is geared towards. Our society is also big on, your kids leaving the house as soon as they're 18. Like, what? That's ridiculous. When you see a lot of other cultures, that they embrace family, it's like, all right, now you're an adult. Now, how are you contributing to the household? How are you contributing, to the family? I get what
you're saying. And I would drive that two different ways. Like, I would, in a weird sense, if I had a daughter, I wouldn't be like that. I wouldn't try to push her out there. Right. But my sons, it's like, I'm pushing them out there in the sense that I want them to be independent. Like, they're men.
You see, like, but they're already establishing. They're already establishing independence now as a child.
But it's like, as a man, I don't know. To me, it's like, as a man, you should be striving to go and create your kingdom. Like, you got to go be, like, you can't be in another man's house and try to be the king, right?
Right.
Like, you got to go create your own kingdom and then go be the king of your kingdom.
But why is there a rush to get them, like, I feel like we put too much pressure on people to have it all together when they're 18. I think that we need to do a better job of, you know, opening our children mentally and teaching them how to, you know, the thought process and how to, you know, strive for what it is that they want and create, you know, the path that they want.
It's not even about them having them all together, that they can make the mistakes they want to make. It's just that at 18, I feel like, and 18 is an arbitrary number, right? It could be whatever. It's just, I don't want to instill an easy mode in their life. Then now at 30, they're still at my house.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying? And I've seen it. And don't get me wrong, I have friends who stayed till 30 living with mom and dad, and they saved all their money and they were able to buy a house and jumpstart their lives, right? But it's like, I don't know. Like, to me, a part of me is like, look, either you're productive or you're not living here. Like, they could be in my house till 30, but they better have a job. They better be helping. They better be doing it. Hey, we're living together. We're still family. Cool. But you're not just playing video games all day.
Right.
You're out there. You're being a man. You're trying to grow as a man. You know? Whereas my daughter, I would look at it in the other sense in that, like, I would want her, like, I'm traditional. I'm going to say it. I'm traditional. Like, if I had a daughter, I would be like, look, you got to take care of the household until you have somebody who's going to take care of you. So I would be like, no, you're not going out there. You're not chasing all these things. You're not going to believe in these lies that tells you you're strong and independent, because you're not. You're the backbone and the foundation of the family. And you got to make yourself a catch for a man who's going to be of worth and value, who's going to take care of you and help build a kingdom with you. Because it takes two to tango. No matter what people want to argue, it takes two to tango. Yes, she can go and get, you know, artificially inseminated, all this stuff, and have a baby that way. But is that healthy for the child? Or should I teach her the right values to present herself as a good mother, and then have, you know, a good family, that nuclear family of father, mother, you know, what society's trying to attack. Society's trying to kill that right now. Right. You know, I sound crazy talking like that,
ultimately,
right?
When ultimately that's you know, we naturally want. You know, we naturally want to have a partner who we can rely on, and we naturally want to have, like, that family dynamic where you're not raising your children on your own. This shit sucks. For anyone out there, this shit sucks. I hate being a single mom.
Well, they believe it. They believe, oh, I can do it on my own. So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm doing it. I'm fucking killing it, but not by choice. You know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Right.
But it is by choice. You know what? Because I didn't put enough value in like, my standards. I didn't have high enough standards when I started having children. You know, like, I did, you know, make my bed. This is the life that I chose to live.
Let me ask you this. And it could also be because, you know, women do have a tendency to have conflict with other women. Like, women do not get along with women, right? Right. It would just call it how we see it, right? So I can get why you didn't stay in the household because it was just you and mom, right? Well, let's say in a different universe, your father didn't pass away. And he was still involved in the household, right? And then he embraced in you, right? Because your father is the first man in your life, and the first man, hopefully, that you respect, right? Because a lot of people get it, you know, get it conflicted, and they think, oh, love. It's not about love. It's about respect. Like, me as a man, I'm chasing for respect now. I didn't know that before. I was taught, like, I should be chasing after love, fairy tales, Disney, all this stuff, right? Gotcha. The reality is, I'm looking for somebody who's going to respect me. Somebody who's going to let me lead as the man. Because I already have my kingdom, right? I have my kingdom. I have my prince. If you're coming in, like, don't come being toxic in my life, right? I'm going to cut you. Like, yo, either you're providing value or you're out of here, right? So I think in your scenario, I think that if your father would have still been around, and let's say they embraced you being in the household, do you think you not being rushed out of the house would have made you a better mother? Maybe have a better selection in men?
I don't know.
Because I wasn't there either. I left when, you know, I joined the military and I was gone. You really didn't have any male role models to say, hey, that's the kind of guy that, you know, I want my husband to be?
I don't think it was so much that I didn't have like the because I had, you know, male role models in my life growing up. You know, like there was there was people through YAG that I was, you know, influenced by. I had like male teachers who, you know, I was influenced by. Like there were positive males in my life. My thing was I was very naive. I was very naive, you know, and like I took everything people told me for face value. And that's something that I was never taught to, like, hey, like, you know, put the puzzle pieces together on your own. Like if something doesn't, you know, make sense, it doesn't make sense, you know? So I think that was my only issue, was being too naive.
Trustworthy.
I don't think it was because
trustworthy, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was because you know, I didn't have the right
you could change them.
Nah, I wasn't.
Because I was the same way. We thought we could fix them. We thought we could change them. We thought if you know, because like what was it? Oh, you always said you always saw potential.
Right. That was always my thing. I fall for potential all the time. No, so I mean, like my boyfriend out of like my first boyfriend in college is the person who I had 2 children with, and like he was ex-military. I'm
gonna use the bathroom real quick while you tell your story.
Okay. He was ex-military.
I gotta go.
He was older than me. He was 14 years older than me. You know, so I was looking for, you know, guidance. I was looking for somebody older, somebody who I felt I respected. And what I didn't realize was, like, he was just, like, manipulating me. You know? And it completely changed the course of my life, having a child. Like, I was 19 when I had my first son. And I was pregnant with my second kid at 21. Like, my life happened very quickly. And I didn't have, you know, I hadn't found, I didn't put my trust in somebody who was ready and already taking care of your life. You figure, you know, if I was 19, 14 years older than me, he was, somebody do the math for me, 19, 32, 33? You know, like, he was my age. Like, looking back, like, that's nasty. Like, I would never be with a 19-year-old right now. Like, just, like, the mental difference is just, it's huge. So I definitely think, you know, I was almost, like, preyed on. And then, you know, being brought up the way I was, like, I knew, like, I had to be responsible. So, like, yeah, I had kids, and I've made shit work since, you know? Like, I made sure that my kids have a bed to sleep in, and they have, you know, food in their bellies. But really, it's not until now, later in life, that I'm like, all right, let me analyze what life is, and let me see where it is that I want to direct my life. Where do I want to go?
So now the biggest red flag, which you called out, he lied to you about his age.
He did lie to me about my age, his age. So and when we met, he told me he was 24 going on 25. So I knew he was older than me, but I thought he was only like 5 or 6 years older than me. And we celebrated 2 of his birthdays. And it wasn't until I was 8 months pregnant with our child that I found out through family that he was actually a lot older than he had originally told me.
Right. And so that was a big red flag, but you made excuses for that.
Right. I was like, well, I'm already pregnant. Like, what am I going to do at this point? You know, like, age is just a number. And, you know, we have a kid together.
So you had your boundary, your initial boundary was like, he's a predator. He's taking, you know, for whatever it is. You said you couldn't be with somebody 19. I can see myself with somebody 19. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I
just feel like a 19-year-old is so damn immature.
No, it's not. I'll be like, yo, you're mature for your age, right? She's like, oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
Lord.
Please, listen. Me at 41, I'm going to say it, I'm 41. Trust me, the life experience she's having at 19 is a different life experience I had at 19.
Right.
So, if we're just, listen, I don't find that as an issue. I really don't. Because that's how it used to be back in the day. Like, way back in the day, it used to be where a man would show value by having resources, right? Mm-hmm. And a woman would have value by youth.
Yeah.
And beauty.
The childbearing ages.
Yes. And that's her in her prime. She's in her prime. And trust me, she's going to respect me a lot more than she respects a 25-year-old.
That's true. That is true. You see, and like that's what like boggles my mind about like the situation I ended up in, because like I had it all right. You know, I was with an older man who, you know, he had the military background, and you know, he had self-respect, he respected women, yada yada, and then boom,
on paper,
that's a lie. Like what?
Yeah,
what?
On paper.
Oh my
So
God.
really, you did it right. Unfortunately, the man, you thought you were getting a man, right? Because you were like, oh, everything on paper looked like it was a man. He was still a boy.
Yep.
And that's one thing we gotta talk about, because you know, a lot of men out here, we say we're men, but we still got little boy energy.
Mm-hmm.
And women, they got that little girl energy too. But it's okay. It's almost acceptable for a woman to have that kind of energy as opposed to a man, because like once again, you know, you gotta be a man. Mm-hmm. And we can talk about that. It's not you're not a man because of what society says. No, you're a man because of the life you lived, the story you went through, the harshness. Like you gotta embrace the suck to kill the boy, right? You gotta go through that hero's journey, if you want to call it a hero's journey, that kills the boy and makes you a man. Because then that's how you can lead. That's how you can build your kingdom. And trust me, how do you expect a woman who's cunning and manipulative to follow you and respect you if you start acting like a boy?
Yeah.
You know? Like if you're needy and you're like, oh no, don't leave me. Like she ain't gonna respect that. She ain't gonna respect you. You gotta be like, look, if you're not riding with me, there's the door. Look, I'm gonna be sad you leaving, but I'll get over it. Bye. And then keep moving. Keep going on your path, on your journey.
And like it's hard to recognize when like when you're in a relationship, it's hard to recognize that you are making excuses. But once you notice that you are, you need to have the inner strength to move on.
Yes. You
know, like I was pregnant with my second child when I decided, like, dude, I cannot be with this man.
Yes, and that stems from two things. Damn, you were 2 kids in, though.
I was two kids in. Oh,
you were 2 kids in. So the first one was shame on him. All right, red flags, all that. But the second one's shame on you. Yep. That's that fool me twice shit. Yep. Shame on me. But regardless, we'll break it down. We'll analyze it so that people can learn from this. And the sense is that there was 2 things you were lacking. One was you were lacking your instinct. You didn't trust your gut.
Right.
And 2, you didn't love yourself enough to walk away. So when he was like, if you didn't trust your gut, if you were to trust your gut, when he was like, oh, he's older and all this, and you're like, oh, blah, blah, you know, you made excuses for his actions. So if you would have trusted your gut and then loved yourself enough to walk away, you would not, I mean, you know, your daughter is amazing. I don't want to knock your daughter, but you would have went on a different path.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say, you know? But it is what we are. We are here. You have 3 beautiful kids. You know, you're raising them. I'll give you kudos. You're doing it. But like you said, it sucks doing it alone.
Yeah.
It does. I'm not on that same path, but I was the same way. And that's why I can call it out, because I did the same things. I didn't trust my gut, and I didn't love myself enough to walk away. But you can't be hard on yourself. If there's anything I want to take, you gotta live and let live. You gotta learn from your mistakes. You gotta grow as a person. And you just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Everything you go through, you know, it's what creates who you are.
Exactly.
You know, like I would have been a completely different person if I went down a different path, you know?
Oh, yeah. And me and Lynn, we've been through some rough shit. And like, I keep saying that. I'm like, if I was actually to put everything, I mean, I could put that in a book. And people would read that book.
It'd be a page turner.
One juicy novela. Like, oh, that would be a juicy. It could probably be a trilogy. But it's not even about
I say that all the time. My life is a novela. Like, how?
Yeah,
how?
right. It's like a soap opera, man. But you know what?
And I don't even like drama. Fun. Yo, I do my best to stay away from drama. And oh my God.
Yes, that's the thing now. Everybody's like, yo, when you gonna find somebody, Ray? I'm like, I don't want that drama in my life. No, I like being drama free. Yo, that's one of the reasons why, like, I never wanted to embrace like we grew up in some hoods, right? Like I never wanted to be ghetto. I never wanted to embrace my heritage because it was just all that. Like when I growing up, all I saw was just drama, drama, drama.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't want none of that. I didn't want none of that. And I fell right into that. So it's like once again, you just gotta laugh at the things you've done in life. Because in time, giving yourself time to grieve, right? And then in time, when you look back at those bad times, you look at those times where you're like, oh God, please give me strength. I can't deal with this for another day.
Yeah. Give
me strength, right? In time, you should be able to look back and just laugh. Just laugh.
Exactly.
And that's how you know you've grown. That's how you know you evolved from that moment. And that's because if you look back and you still get angry, you still have more healing.
Yeah.
You have more growth in you. But if you look back and you can laugh.
Which means also that you may be bottling it in. If you think about something and you still like have those emotions being brought up in you, then you have not dealt with it. And you need to. You need to allow those emotions to come out. In a positive way, in a productive way, man. Like it's okay to be angry. Angry, is how you build your character. It's okay to be sad because through sadness, you appreciate happiness. Like all the emotions that you can feel, it's okay to feel them, but acknowledge them, allow those emotions, and allow those emotions to pass. Yes.
It's a full cycle. And a lot of people, we don't want to go through the full cycle of emotions. Like we want to stop right here. It's like, oh, make the pain go away. It's like, no, you got to kind of understand the pain. You got to go through the emotions of the pain. You got to grieve the pain. You got to accept the pain, right? And then you got to let the pain go. Like you gotta understand the full cycle of it all. Fuzz said maybe it's the genes. It's definitely the genes, Fuzz. We're Hispanic. Come on. Come on. Maybe. Come on. As much as I was trying to run away, we're novelas, man. Yeah. There's nothing that Hispanics don't do that's not passionate. It's like, oh God, really? It's like I was trying to get away from this, and it's like, oh my God. Oh, and you know what? Lynn helped me get through that. Oh my God, the calls that Lynn had got in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I remember the one time I was living in the Bronx and I was about to go in the subway and you called me. And so I couldn't go in the subway because I would have lost the call. I was standing there in the cold talking to you in the subway stairs like for hours. We were just chatting. But like when the call comes in, you gotta be there, man.
Gotta answer the call.
You gotta answer. Yep,
but you know what?
I was in the subway stairs waiting.
But that's part of your tribe. So like you gotta answer the call. If the call comes in, you gotta answer the call because you gotta also know that somebody's gonna have your back when you need to make the call.
Yeah.
And you look, you're praying, you're hoping every single day you don't ever have to make the call. But if you have to make the call, like I did, I was like,
man, make the call.
Man, I have to make the call. It's like you got to, you know what? And it's good to have those kind of people in your life. If you have those people in your life, embrace them, reach out to them. Let's have that as the closing message. Call the people that you love. Yeah. Tell them like, yo, I'm still thinking about you. Thank you for being, thank you for riding with me. Do that. My Spanish friend told me don't date Spanish women because I wouldn't handle the Latin heat. That is true. Actually, look, this is what I still like. I still love Latin women. They're the most beautiful women out there. I'm saying that. That's why. That's just how I believe. It's my opinion. I will definitely, if I do ever get married again, I'm gonna import her. I'm not going domestic. I'm going import. I'm probably going to go somewhere in Latin America and bring her back in. And because I do think that Latin America still has those traditional values that I'm looking for. But I do have to embrace the fact that we are passionate. You cheat on a Latin woman, she will cut you. She will cut you. It's like that. We are passionate. We are passionate.
One time, the guy was really into video games. And he broke my heart. So I pulled out his video game. It was inside the PlayStation.
He broke my heart.
I pushed the button. I pulled it out. I wrote some shit with a Sharpie marker. I put it back in the PlayStation. I was like, let's just wait and see. And like when he finally went to play his game and he couldn't, he was pissed. I was like, well.
So he opened the tray and he took the disc out and he thought it was scratch or something. So he opens it and it's just written.
Yep.
You asshole.
Yup, all Sharpied on there and shit. Like, oh man.
So Fuzz,
shits that you deserve.
Listen, but listen, the passion goes both ways. They're passionate about their food. They're passionate about the people they love. Look, the passion goes both ways. All I advise you is if you do date a Latina, just have a cheap car. Something that you don't mind getting keyed. Have some breakaway furniture around the house. I mean, pretty much your house is going to be like a movie set or a WWE ring or something, you know? Something that stuff furniture is breaking left and right, you know? Let her put you through a table sometimes, you know? It's like, hey, the booty. She got a nice booty, you got to go through a table. That's all I'm saying. then like the cheap car one. No, seriously, just it is what it is. This was a great episode. Thank you guys for all your comments, your love. Like I said, just call out the people you love. If somebody helped you through something, just say thank you. Give them a thank you, you know? And yeah.
All right, guys.
Then you have anything? Got anything to say?
Yes, sir. We'll see you on Thursday. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your hump day. Hump day.
Do we know what we plan on doing on Thursday? Our Thursday topic?
Not yet.
We had that one, the nature one. Why did we change out the nature boy?
Oh, that's true. I don't know. This morning I was just like, yeah, I want to talk about healing.
Healing?
Yeah. Give yourself time to heal. I was like, that's what we're going.
Oh! Did you see Jade after the whole incident happened? Jada came out. He's like, "Oh, it's the time for healing." I'm like, "You're the one that's causing all these problems. You need to heal. You're toxic." Love you guys, and thank you for a great show.